Malcolm McCanny sounding very relaxed there. So Dundee United against Ross County, Aberdeen, Hibs, St Mirren, Hearts, Kilmarnock against Livingston, St Johnstone, Motherwell, the playoff match, Hamilton Accies against Alloa. Chick is there. I'll bring you goal flashes from all the other playoff matches. That's Falkirk Airdrie, Dumbarton against Annan, and the Spartans against Albion Rovers. That's all to come on Open All Mics.
Chance! And it's a goal! Oh, what a goal!
All the action from all the biggest games.
Oh, it's the second goal!
This is Open All Mics from Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Welcome to Open All Mics on BBC Radio Scotland. A really exciting afternoon ahead on Sports. Bobby Madden, Leanne Crichton with me in the studio. Leanne, the thing that's going to be fascinating today, particularly at the bottom of that Premiership table, is watching how it changes throughout the afternoon.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that it could be similar to the way it was in the Championship final day of the season, where literally as a goal was scored, the permutations and the table just changed constantly. At one point teams were going for second to fifth to sixth and so on. It's so close, there's so much to play for. I know it's more the three teams that will be focused in on: Dundee United, Kilmarnock and Ross County, but there is so much to play for. But every manager that we've just listened to there seems pretty confident. They seem to be in a good place and they're embracing the fight.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Michael Stewart is at that game at Tannadice. They are underway. It's a fantastic afternoon for football. So much at stake there, Michael. Malky saying the pitch is in great condition.
It's a goal for Ross County.
Wow.
Corner kick, and it's in the back of the net. It's Jordan White who's got it in there. It was a deep ball right round the back. I think it was the captain, Jack Baldwin, who heads it back across the face of the goal. And Jordan White, right in the middle of the goals, not a great deal of pressure on him, knocks it into the back of the net to put Ross County 1-0 up.
Well, there we go, the league table's changed already. Michael, did that corner just come virtually straight from kick-off?
Yeah, it did. They basically played the ball back. Jack Baldwin played it up the park, and Ryan Edwards was complaining to the referee that he was getting filled. Alex Samuel, who, if you've seen on his screens, he is one stocky little guy. He muscled in against Ryan Edwards, who's a fair bit taller than him, but he's certainly not got the bulk that Alex Samuel's got. He wrestled him, he won the ball, and then Craig Sibbald came in and knocked the ball behind for the corner kick, and that is it, 1-0 down from the resulting corner.
It's interesting, Michael, isn't it? Malky was sounding so relaxed, quite confident there, and I guess you'll take that from last weekend's result, but also I guess as a manager you probably got a feeling training throughout the week that you're in for a good day.
Well, you would think so. You never know though. I mean, let's be honest, the two sides, and you know, in fact there's been so many teams in the top flight this season that have had so much inconsistency. You look at the talent that Dundee United have got in their team, and they're capable of going head to head with most teams in the division, but here they are fighting for their survival in the top flight. So, you know, you would think as a Dundee United manager, when you look at the ability there and you look at how they would be performing in training, you think to yourself, there's no problems, but psychology's got such a huge part to play in it. And for Malky Mackay, not to say that they've got one of the best squads in the division, because they don't, but certainly that result last week against Livingston will have given them such a lift in belief and confidence, as will that goal inside the opening minute there at Tannadice.
Yeah, and they have a very experienced manager there in charge at Ross County. So Dundee United 0, Ross County 1, Jordan White with that goal in the first minute. Let's then get to Pittodrie, Aberdeen against Hibs there. Barry Robson had been in a terrific run of form. They of course lost last weekend. We've seen the pictures, we've heard everything all week with the huge celebrations. It looked fantastic. I'm hoping Willie Miller is back with us.
I'm here, yeah. Can you hear me, Kenny?
Yeah, fantastic, Willie. You must have had an amazing week, and I'm told by Tyrone the fans are singing there's only one Willie Miller when you're down in that pitch.
Yeah, I mean, it was great first and foremost to get all the players together. We've had a fabulous 4 days, a very tiring time for us, I must admit. There's been a lot of celebration, but you know what, the players, they don't change. They actually do not change. Their personalities are exactly the way they were back in the day. The dressing room humour has been there throughout our celebrations, and at Pittodrie this afternoon the sun is just sparkling in the sky. The ground itself is packed They had a magnificent display as well for us at both ends of the pitch. And they're out for a party today, and I'm sure that every Aberdeen fan will be hoping that party continues with a victory this afternoon.
Willie, I saw the pictures last week, you know, the Player of the Year doing. I saw you on stage with Duke, who you've spoken so highly of this season. In terms of the celebrations with the Gothenburg side this week, have the current group of players been involved in that at all?
Yeah, but not too much. No, it's basically been the former players. You know, I think they've got much more important things in their mind, perhaps the game today, and they've been fully focused on it. You know, Barry and Steve Agnew, they were at the presentation of the Freedom of the City yesterday, so they were represented. The club was represented by them, but it's been mostly about us back in the day, that 1983 team that won in Gothenburg and then went on, you know, to take the Super Cup later on in that year too. So it's been just a fabulous time, Kenny. Yeah,
it's been great watching. Congratulations again to yourself and your teammates, Willie. It's been stunning watching that.
Kenny,
yep.
can I ask, that programme the BBC put on the other night was incredible. And Willie, hats off to you when you mentioned Neil Cooper, and honest to God, I was in tears myself, because Neil's a teammate of mine, a good friend of mine, as you know.
Yeah.
What a wonderful guy he was, always had a smile on his face. And I always have a laugh with Willie saying that cup's been smelted down for belt buckles now, but what an achievement it was, Willie. See, when you look back on it, and
brilliant.
See, VAR would have done you in the last minute of extra time for that tackle.
I know. and that's what you're saying. I'm going around telling everybody else to watch the tackles as it's getting to the final whistle.
Big Tatty, big Nearly. He used to play keepy up with me, so he did. He was my teammate as well, obviously at Rangers, then my manager up at Ross County, and never a dull moment with a big fella about.
Yeah,
congratulations, Willie. Well deserved. What does that mean now? You can walk your livestock down Union Street.
That's it. We can take our sheep down Union Street. Absolutely correct. I hope there's maybe one or two other things that we might be able to do.
You get to keep that hat, Willie.
That hat was class, Willie. That was a rasper.
That's all part of the ceremony. You need
brilliant, pal. Well deserved.
You need to get your scroll on your hat. So, great stuff. And
Kenny, we've got a goal here in the playoff. There's no that second one. Connor Salmon. Oh, it's 1-0 to Arlo Athletic. It was all Aki's early stage. He eventually got a free kick out on the right side, and Cammy O'Donnell took the free kick. I'm sure he was just putting that into the 6-yard box, but it just went past everybody, hit the far post, bounced into the net, and Aki's are behind. It's 2-0 in aggregate, 1-0 in the afternoon to Arlo Athletic. They've got an uphill task now of Aki's to stay in this division.
Yeah, that's a big goal there. Just finally from yourself, Willie, on this, I think it's worth pointing out the club seem to have done a fantastic job by the Gothenburg greats this past week.
No, they've been brilliant. You know, they've done everything that they possibly could have done to support the celebrations. We unveiled the plaque as well, the Gothenburg plaque, today just outside the main door to commemorate that victory in '83. And the chairman, Dave Cormack, and the rest of the staff, Lisa, who's been working tirelessly, they've been just fantastic for us. Listen, it's about the club. We were just a small part of the club. We played an important part back in the day, but it's more important that this club thrives and goes forward and takes its right place, at the heart of Aberdeen City as well.
And just in terms of the game today, Willie, 7 or 8 minutes on the clock, how's it going?
Hibs have played well. They started really positively. Aberdeen are struggling to get any control of the ball. It's all been about the visitors so far. One effort and goal, Kevin Disbittle, was to just get his left foot on it. Roos managed to take it quite comfortably. But so far, I think the Dons need to wake up a little bit, because it's Hibs on the offensive.
Down in England, Aston Villa 1, Spurs 0. Jacob Ramsey on 8 minutes in the lunchtime kickoff. It finished Leeds United 2, Newcastle United 2. Let's then get to Paisley. This is a big game. Derek Ferguson, St Mirren against Hearts.
Yeah, got a big crowd as well, Kenny. A brilliant little atmosphere in here. Superb. Hearts dominating at the moment, really threatening down that right-hand side. Certainly James Hill, any opportunity, he's getting on that overlap with a couple of dangerous balls into the box, but St Mirren have cleared it. St Mirren struggling a little bit, just to get themselves into the game, and And the last time I was here, Kilmarnock, you know, absolutely, they schooled them. So they did. They've got a big turnout again, so I think they'll be hoping for certainly a better performance. Get beat 2-1 last week. They're finding it tough at the moment. Also, Kenny, with a minute's silence here, a member of staff at St Mirren, Alan Murray, I think 61 years old, has passed away. So sad that, but the big crowd in here, you know, paying their condolences to him, so sad news.
Yeah, I saw a lot of nice tributes to him online this week, Derek. Let's then get to Rugby Park. Kilmarnock against Livingston. What's happening in the early stages, Stephen Craigan?
Well, I have to say, Kenny, not an awful lot, and I think you can just tell there's a bit of nervousness about Kilmarnock. You know, their away form has been so poor that their home form has had to be good, because if it hadn't been good, they'd have been deep in trouble. I think 26 points are picked up altogether, but it was just a little coming together earlier on. Joe Wright and Liam Donnelly bumped into each other. They could just tell the fans were a little bit frustrated with it. Stephen Kelly just flashed wide, but you know, when you come to Rugby Park, I always expect a really competitive game. Of course, like everywhere else, the sun is shining, the pitch is dry, so the ball's bouncing and bobbing all over the place. Nobody wants to take any risks. Nobody wants to take a touch. They're just helping the ball on. So I think the game is still waiting to settle down with what, almost 9 minutes gone. Kilmarnock desperately need points. They won't know, certainly, the players in the pitch that Ross County are leading, but it just means they would drop in the bottom of the table. So as it stands at the minute, still 0-0, and the quality hasn't been great.
Yeah, looking at the live table, Dundee United 31 points, Kilmarnock 32, Ross County 33 in the early stages. Yes?
Yeah, Kenny, can I just say that goal that came out after 5 minutes for Arlo, it looked to me, the free kick from Cammy O'Donnell went right in without a touch. One or two people around me, I think one or two agents are suggesting that Connor Salmon got a touch in it, not for my money, but it was certainly in about the area, but for me it went straight in. But you may well see Salmon credited with the goal. And in any case, Brian Rice down there will not be carrying his team, are now 2-0 ahead, and Accies are staring down the barrel of two consecutive relegations. Yeah,
it's certainly been given to Connor Salmon at the moment. All the fun we had when he joined Scottish football, the guys were on for a week. I think Chick made the most of that week after week.
Have you ever seen his after dinner stuff? He still is.
we need to can that salmon stuff.
Oh, stop. He goes again. Pulling out the old ones.
Week after week, he never fails, Alan. What's happening in your game there, McDermott, Al?
St Johnstone started really well. Stevie May had an overhead kick just wide of the target, then had a corner coming in, which was well cleared. Motherwell hadn't got going, but then he just won a corner, taking shot with Van Veen. Little chance, but the easy keeper, Matthews, collecting it at his near post. 0-0 at McDermott Park. We're into the 11th minute, Kenny.
Yeah, Derek Ferguson, Chick, has been fearful for the Accies for a number of weeks now. They're right up against it, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, they are. Sorry, Derek, carry on.
No, it's a wee bit depressing when you think about it. I just think they've had this opportunity, you know, to get themselves out of jail. And, you know, I thought the other night it was a poor result, and then already, you know, 1-0 down. So I think John, he's come in.
Big chance for Hibs.
On you go, Wally.
Johan down the left-hand side there. Aberdeen all over the place at the start of this game. Very unusual to see them so open defensively, and he takes on his left foot. It's a tight angle. He strikes it. It's right at Kilroos in goal, who takes it reasonably comfortable, but on the break, Hibs looking extremely dangerous.
That's a good signing for Hibs. Willie Ellie, Johan completing a permanent deal this week.
Yeah.
On a 3-year contract.
What a miss at Tannadice. There's a great break up the park from Dundee United, and it was Aina. He was right down that right-hand side, and he cut back in on Iacovitti on his left foot. He's got the goal at his mercy, and he blazes it over the bar. It really should have been 1-1.
At minimum, Michael, he's got to work the goalkeeper. Nice combination play, middle to front from Dundee United. Good energy, good support play. Does everything right. So much time as well to compose himself and just shape the shot. Gets it all wrong, lifts it way high over the bar.
Yeah, certainly a great chance there for Dundee United, of course, missing Charlie Mulgrew this afternoon. We've got Bobby Madden in the studio alongside myself and Leanne. Michael, I think you were the only person I saw last week saying that was the incorrect decision from the match officials. You there, Michael?
Yep, what is it?
I'm saying I think you were the only person I saw last week saying it was the incorrect decision from the match officials to send off Charlie Mulgrew.
Yeah, you're passing a statement. What do you want me to say?
Why? Do you stand by that now?
Yeah, I think a yellow card would have sufficed. I don't think it was a horrendous decision from the referee, but I just thought that a yellow card would have sufficed.
I think this is the thing, Michael. I know that so many decisions are ambiguous and it's down to interpretation, but I think with that, when you take that freeze frame, which we all try and avoid, there's a clear unobstructed path to the opponent's goal, so I don't think there's any other option in that instance to show a red card.
As I said, it's not one that I would be getting myself, worked up about. I don't think it was a horrendous decision from the referee. I just thought that it would have been suffice for a yellow. I think Charlie McGrew, he got a touch on the ball to begin with. Yes, he clearly tried to raise his leg and obstruct Milka Hallberg as well. I wasn't sure that there was a whole load of contact in it. I just thought all of it was enough mitigation for me personally that I thought a yellow card would have sufficed. But as I said, not one that I'd be getting overly excited about. Clearly not as excited as Kenny was when he was passing his statement.
Well, I always enjoy when you get excited, Michael. Yes?
Yeah, Ken, a problem here for Arlo early in the game. Scott Taggart, I think it's a knee injury, but he's got a problem in any case. He's had to go off to be replaced by Luke Rankin. Remember, Accies are trailing Arlo by a goal to 0 in the afternoon. That's 2-0 in aggregate, but a blow for Arlo there.
Chelsea 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Tayo Aonye on 13 minutes with a goal there for the Wayside. It's been a dreadful season for Chelsea despite the huge sums of money they have spent. Guys, we'll get your thoughts in a couple of minutes' time, given that the shortlist is out for Manager of the Year. Who should be winning that one? Just nothing really happening in terms of the games at the moment, Bobby, so given we've got you in, the red card at Tynecastle last week, the correct decision?
I think it's much discussed. And I think when they show the yellow card live, a lot of people accept that, but I think then when you get that freeze frame, you then look at it and the attacker does have an unobstructed path towards goal. There's no defender close enough to then come across and cover. Unfortunately, with the letter of the law and the interpretation that referees has to apply it as a red card, obviously not as clear as the Charlie McGrew incident, but still by the criteria that referees are asked to operate within, a red card would be the expected decision.
Now, when do we get to the Duke one?
Well, I think we have to get that because
wonderful. I was just about to say there, Alan, he passes comment about all these other ones, and it's what about that one, Kenny?
So the Duke one,
it's on the list. It's on, it's on the list because
I'm yet to see anybody that suggests that was the correct decision.
Yeah, and I think that one wasn't on the verdict, and I think we have to talk about that because, again, if we go by social media, people are talking about it, and Bobby, so give us your take on it.
Yeah, I think that is also denying obvious goal-scoring opportunity. I know there's a lot of people claiming that it should be a penalty kick, but I think the correct decision there, the initial foul starts outside the penalty area, so that should be awarded, and then a red card for a denying obvious goal-scoring opportunity, but not a penalty kick. Yes, some contact continued into the penalty area, but it wasn't holding, so the correct decision.
A wee shout for a penalty there. Just a ball in for it, but I think it's Hull. The ball just bounces awkwardly. I'm not sure if it hit his stomach or his arm. His arm's down at the side, but you know what it's like, as soon as it hits that part of the body or you think it's hit the arm, the crowd are obviously claiming for it.
And likewise here at Tannadice, there's a same situation. John Beaton's just holding up. It's gone out for a corner kick, but it looked as if Alex Samuel had just leaned in towards where the ball was. To be honest, I've got a pillar right in front of me, so I couldn't actually tell you definitively whether it hit his arm or not, but the Dundee United players are having
it does look as if it's nicked off his arm, Michael. He kind of pulls it behind his back and tries to get out the way, but just not in time. Although I would say that I don't think his hand was in an overly unnatural position to start with.
Yeah, we're just waiting on that
big
one.
Chance, Kenny, sorry, yes, big chance. I mean, I said earlier on, Kyle Vassell has yet to get a league goal for Kilmarnock, so when he went through one-on-one, I don't think there was too much hope around Rugby Park that he was going to put the ball underneath Shamal George. It was a really good save in the end. That's the first clear-cut opportunity of the afternoon. I said it earlier on, the Kilmarnock fans are a little bit tense, or a little bit nervy. Liam Donnelly had a pass back to the goalkeeper, Sam Walker, from the halfway line. There was jeers, was waving arms, so there's a nervousness. That would have been the ideal opportunity just to settle everybody down, but he hit it right into the goalkeeper's midriff. Still 0-0 here at Rugby Park.
Yeah, Kenny, talking about a good chance, but a great save. Yes, Michael.
Talking about that incident at Tynecastle, I mean, look, I hear what Bobby's saying with regards to the freeze frame at direct line at the goal, all that sort of stuff. But the one thing that is not spoken about or taken in consideration is you can have a clear line of sight of goal as much as you want, but if the ball's not under your control, then it doesn't matter as much as being made out.
Yeah.
The ball was bouncing. It wasn't on the ground. It wasn't like Maeda was running straight onto the ball. These things mean that he's not going to be running at full pelt with the ball under control. He's going to have to slow, control, And that, for me, when you look at where Kai Rolls was definitely getting back in to affect that attack. And I don't think, you know, with the decision especially having been made as a yellow card, I just don't think VAR should have been getting involved in that at all. And that's it's a level of intervention, Michael, and you're totally correct. That's one of the 4 criteria that's up for debate. You know, the likelihood of keeping or gaining control of the ball, and that's where you will have ambiguity, and that's where some people, like yourself and many others, would accept that the yellow card stands. I think the VAR has taken the option. There's the freeze frame, and it's difficult when that's presented with you to give any other decision in red. But absolutely, you're correct. The control. See, Bobby, with the freeze frame though, you know, look, for me, freeze frame is not a conclusive piece of evidence in football, whether it's a tackle or whether it's, you know, looking at you know, an incident like that, because it gives you a false perception of what is actually going on. Football's is a moving sport. It's moving pieces. Freezing it at one point is not a definitive for me. And you know, if I'm the referee and I'm being shown a freeze frame, then you've got to be asking for, I need to see it. Show me the run. You can't just show a freeze frame to somebody as a definitive piece of evidence.
We've had a book in here, Kenny. It's Rolls in the middle of the park. It's he's kind of petulant. He's pulled the player back. He's getting away from him. But about 5 minutes ago, Andy Halliday, he absolutely halved into Greg Kiltie. You know, it looked they'd been in with force, aggression, and you know, get very little of the ball. If he did get anything of it, you know, I'm really surprised he didn't get booked. And then you just see a little, you know, I thought that was quite dangerous. And then you just see a little tug, you know, and as I say, one player gets booked for that, and then you see I thought it was quite a really aggressive in this day and age.
You're spot on. We were watching it. Bobby had a look across it as well. I actually wondered if he would look at it as a possible red card check, let alone the yellow, just the manner in which Andy Halliday came in. I thought yellow would have been suffice, but the fact the referee hasn't made that call himself, and VAR have looked at it and deemed it not a red card, then I don't think they can decide that he gets a yellow, if that makes sense. And it was a cynical foul on Alex Greaves by Rowles, as you say, in the middle of the pitch, which probably did warrant a yellow card on its own. I would need to say just the manner in which he brought him down, but
it's just that consistency.
It's the consistency as well, isn't it?
Yeah, Kenny. Just look at a challenge that's really aggressive, you know.
That Chick try to get in there, Chick.
Kenny, the natives are getting a bit restless here. Here's a chance for Hamilton. Well, could be a penalty. It's not. It's given for a dive. Now the Hamilton fans are getting turned towards the director's box here at New Douglas Park, and as the Corrs have sacked the board, they're really angry support. Remember, they're trailing 2-0 in aggregate in terms of being relegated from the championship, and the supporters, it's all turned a little bit ugly. They're having a real go at the board up there, turned away from the game, and schemes have sacked the board. So we'll just keep our eyes on that this afternoon.
We've got a VAR check at Saturday, so it looks like John Beaton is coming over for a possible handball, and I've got to be honest, didn't even see this one. You know, obviously I brought to attention the one before, but it got announced over the tannoy, and he's over to have a look at it.
Yeah, but I think it's coming from across, and I think the defender has jumped to block it, and as he jumps, his hand comes out and clearly blocks the ball in an unnatural position as it's entering the penalty area. I think this will be given as a penalty kick.
It's his left arm, Michael, as he jumps to block. He kind of reaches his left arm across the body.
The penalty's given. I mean, for me, I'd love to see the replay of this one.
Biomechanics, Michael.
Well, I wish the officials would start to understand, Bobby. I wish they would start to understand, because clearly so far this season they've been massive F
So do we get
on the
back
test
to the
sheet for biomechanics. I've got to be honest, Bobby.
Sorry, Michael. Do we get back? So was that a clear and obvious mistake by the VAR then, Bobby? Look at that.
I believe that should have been a red card for denying obvious goal opportunity.
So why didn't they look at it?
I think they've looked at it, but for whatever reason they don't want to get involved.
The signal went down now.
It's that same colour that's blocking Michael. No, I think I think there was a little bit Dukes pinned the arm of goals, but for me it's a foul. When you're the defender, the wrong side, you'll see the arm's pinned.
He's not pinned him.
So if you look at the right arm,
what are you giving there?
Free kick and a red card.
Right, okay, penalty at Tannadice. We'll get back to Michael. Penalty at Tannadice.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, there's still a wee bit of time before it's taken. The penalty, obviously it's McGrath who's going to be taking it. Ball is on the spot. Ross Laidlaw's still having a drink of water behind the goal. He's coming onto his line now. He's touching the crossbar. Jim McGrath steps up, slides into the back of the net. Easy, 1-1.
United now off the foot.
It's a red card here, Kenny.
Yeah, take it away.
It's a red card for Alloa. It was obviously George Stanger's the man who'd been sent off. He's denied a clear goal scoring opportunity. Eccles, they break down the right hand side. It was a a red card from the referee. He's gone off. So Aki's a little bit of hope for them. They are now facing 10 men for the rest of the game. It is a red card for Arlo Athletic, and the man in the one walk is George Stanger.
Yeah, Aki's badly in need of a break, and that was a really nice, cool penalty there, wasn't it, Leanne?
It was, yeah, lovely. It just cool, calm and composed under pressure, because it is a big moment in the game. Get yourselves back level. Setting a lifeline for Dundee United, that's for sure.
It's another chance for Hibs. You know, I think it's put by the post by Nisbet. He just gets himself beyond that near post. Johan again down the left-hand side, just burning it up and steadying himself and picking out Nisbet, but he's strike with inside his foot was just past that near post. So it's all been about Hibs so far in this game.
Yeah, Lee Johnson said during the week he felt it was a must-win for them today, and his side, certainly the way Willie's describing it, off to a positive start there. What a goal, what an important goal that is at Tannadice, that penalty from Jamie McGrath. They were behind in the first minute
Kenny,
there. Jordan White, yeah.
Kenny, I'm just seeing that. It's not a penalty for me. You know, I think, is it Josh Sims that's running back in? That's just... His arms are barely out from his body, I'm sorry, and it flicks up off his hand. That's, again, I say to you, if the guy, he's running to try and get back in and block the cross coming in, where do you think his arms are going to be? His arms in a completely normal running position, and then he tries to jump to block the cross and it flicks up off his hand. That to me is just not a penalty kick. It really isn't. You know, it gets headed out, BH is going to cross it in, he comes back into the picture and his arms are not above his shoulders. They're in a normal position when somebody's running and he's making a jump. It's barely outstretched from his body at all. For me, that's not a penalty kick.
First effort from Motherwell, it's that man Van Veen looking for his 26th goal of the season. Brings the ball down well, middle of the goal, 25 yards out, shifts it on his left foot, hits over the top of the crossbar. 0-0 still at McDermott.
Bobby will come back into that penalty decision. Yeah, Chick.
There's never a dull moment in Scottish football. What has happened here, you remember, was an injury for Arlo Athletic. Scott Taggart to go off. They replaced him with Luke Rankin, which was about 5 minutes ago or so. They've gone down to 10 men with Stanger getting sent off. They put on Andy Graham at centre half, and they've taken off Luke Rankin, who was a substitute, came on 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, there's always a story in Scottish football. The story is fascinating at the bottom of the Premiership table. Dundee United 32, Kilmarnock 32, Ross County 31. Yes.
Yeah, chance down at Rugby Park once again. Kilmarnock are starting to build up a head of steam. I think that negativity from the fans is flipping into positivity. Good play down the left-hand side. He got chipped into Kyle DeSelt near post. He actually backheeled it into the middle of the 6-yard box, and in came David Watson with a powerful header right down the throat of Shamal George. But the tide is starting to turn. Kilmarnock dominating a little bit more, Kenny, but as you witnessed throughout the season, they struggle to score goals from open play. It seems to be set plays where they carry their biggest threat, so a little bit of work to do, but still 0-0.
Alan, you mentioned Kevin Van Veen there. He, of course, has made the shortlist for Player of the Year. If he does move on from Motherwell, where do you see his level?
I don't think he'll be in Scotland, because I can't see Rangers or Celtic buying him. Stuart Kettlewell saying no other club in Scotland could afford them, so I think he would go possibly to Asia or somewhere like that, where the money's big. You know, Saudi Arabia, somewhere like that. And that's an if. But there's guys in the lower leagues in England and in League of Wales that is getting a lot of traction from Saudi Arabia at the moment, Kenny.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a huge loss, Leanne, wouldn't it, to Motherwell? I mean, the season he has had has been absolutely terrific. And it's good to see that getting recognised in the awards. I mean, the chances are he won't win it, but to be nominated, you know, is important from your fellow professionals. Of
course it is. I think from your peers it means even more, you know, in the fact that the players have recognised the job that he's doing. Motherwell have finished in the bottom 6. It would have probably been easy to overlook him and look towards players in the top half of the table, but the fact that his goals have been so important for Motherwell in terms of saving their season as well, at the point that they were almost in that limbo stage when Stevie Hamill left his position. Stuart Kettlewell's come in, but the goals up until that point had kept Motherwell just above float, and now he's been instrumental. The performances have been excellent. Whether he'll stay or not, I'm unsure. I know there was a bit of debate last season whether he would sign on, and again I think he was homesick. I'm not sure he was loving life too much in Scotland, but it looks to me like he's a different player.
Oh,
this
it's a
season.
goal! Oh, it's chopped off. Oh, just put lovely ball in. Well, lovely ball. It was hard and low. I think Main gets onto it, puts it across goal, and there's Alec Gogic at the back post.
Is it offside, is it, Derek?
It's offside. He's been immense already this afternoon. First 25 minutes of this game, Gogic has been absolutely brilliant. He's playing in front of that back three there, just breaking up play, but then popping passes about. You know, really, what an improved player he is since I watched him at Hamilton, then obviously going to Hibs. Good player now, Gogic.
Correct call. Is that correct call, Leanne?
Definitely the correct call. Yeah, absolutely. 3 or 4 yards offside to start with. Trying to be smart, St Mirren just leaving a player in that offside position, but doesn't get anywhere near close to getting back onside by the time the ball moves.
Stephen?
Yeah, I was just to finish on the Kevin Van Veen thing. He scored 47% of Motherwell's goals this season in the league.
Yeah.
You know, when you talk about the importance of a player, I mean, I know Kyogo is probably going to win Player of the Year or Hatate. I think Celtic have scored 105 goals.
Oh, it's going to be a penalty. Oh, it's a penalty. Connor Salmon brought down inside the box. This game is unbelievable. Real mistake at the back by the Ackies. Salmon goes round the goalkeeper. He's brought down and he has a chance on the penalty spot. We've already had a protest against the board. We've had a player sent off. We have had a substitute who was on for just 9 minutes. now Arloa want the goalkeeper sent off because he was denying a clear goal scoring opportunity. The referee, I don't think, is going to send the goalkeeper off. They're queuing up to take this penalty kick, which would put Ackies 3-0 behind in aggregate. Astonishing circumstances. It's Stefan Skugel who's stepping up to take this penalty kick. The goalkeeper is given a yellow card just, and here we have a situation. Chris Graham, the referee, walks away from the goalkeeper. Stefan Skugel is there to take this, to put Alloa Athletic 3-0 ahead in aggregate and condemn Hamilton Ackies to their second consecutive relegation. He's going to take it left-footed. He's ensuring the players are outside the box. Here comes Skugel. You can begin to hear the deathly silence of the Ackies fans. Away to my left, Skugel taking an edge. Here he comes now. The goalkeeper saved it. No, he's on the rebound. He scored. He has scored on the rebound. The goalkeeper saved it. Skugel responded and rattled it into the back of the net. It's 2-0 to Al on the day, 3-0 in aggregate, and the Ackies fans turn against the board way down to my left-hand side.
How's the wedding going on?
Kenny.
The wedding going quite good, aye.
Kenny,
yes, Michael.
Just to confirm, it's consecutive, not back-to-back?
Correct, it was Dundee who got relegated.
Aye.
Oh, is that what Chick said?
I've just heard it a couple of times. Hamilton didn't get relegated last year.
We took the wrong jacket out, checked one for a couple of years back.
Sorry, I think I got the nuts.
With the notes in it.
Right, I apologise for that, but we've got a problem here, Kenny.
Right.
All the supporters to my left are talking about have now come out the seats along to the right, and they're having a right go at the board of directors. I apologise for the consecutive relegation, but they have a major problem here with supporters. I don't know if you can hear this in the background, but this is a real potential. Well, it's not potential trouble, it is trouble right now for Ackies. The supporters have come out their seats and are now facing up to the board of directors away to my right.
A few of them out. So I would.
That's really worrying. That's really worrying. You can understand the frustrations, but you've got to control that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is, and I don't know about the police presence here. The stewards down there, I'm not sure how much police we've got around this. They've now turned away from the game altogether. Just to remind you that in the football match itself, they come into this game 1-0 down. Alloa have scored twice. It's 3-0 in aggregate, and this is turning very ugly indeed down here, Kenny.
Bobby, just as a referee, if you're on the park and something
There's
like
a chance for
that's
Van Veen, he's through! And the flag goes up. You have to have a look at this, Leanne. Yeah. It's actually a tackle in the Motherwell half. It's smashed. A St Johnstone player goes in. I think Montgomery goes in and smashes the ball. Breaks to Van Veen. He goes through, cuts inside, beats the keeper, then the flag goes up. That will be checked.
I seen the challenge that you mean, Alan, but the camera angle that we had didn't have the other half of the pitch, just as that happened, to see where Kevin Van Veen was. I won't be surprised right enough if he is offside, because I don't think he would have ever been expecting to receive it. the angle.
The
that he's
usual
got.
forward taking their time coming back.
Yeah, it does look as if he's
correct
off.
decision,
Yeah,
Leanne,
correct decision.
Bobby, just in terms of what Chick's describing there, see something's going on in the stand like that, a concerning situation. As a referee, are you keeping an eye on that?
You need to maintain focus on what's happening on the field of play, and a head steward or a club official will let you know that there's something you need to deal with. We've seen this year a couple of times with someone taken ill in the stand where games are stopped, but they're actually encouraging referees, please continue the game and allow them to deal with what's happening off the pitch. Obviously, if it gets to an uncontrollable level, you'd be advised to stop.
Right, we're gonna get you. I want you to come back. I know Michael was wanting you to explain why that was a penalty.
It doesn't need to explain, because I know why it is, you know.
But can you see under the current laws of the game, Michael, why it was a correct decision? That's my point.
It's interpretation. I just think that there's nothing unnatural with what Josh Sims has done there. And by the way, if it was deemed that he's put his arm out, having seen another angle, what I would suggest is the Connor Goldson defence of his arm's going up almost to protect him being hit with the ball. That's how I would see it.
I think today the arm's out just beyond the hit, Michael, but you're right. I mean, I think it's the interpretation, but you hear the phrases, it's the t-shirt line, it's make yourself bigger, the silhouette, but any clips the referees are shown, they're shown that should be awarded as a penalty kick. And some referees won't agree with it, but that's the criteria.
Are you comfortable, Bobby, with the interpretation of the handball laws in Scottish football?
I've had to become comfortable with it. I think we used to attend UEFA courses and probably all the British guys didn't agree with most of the handballs, but we've had to conform. That's the way football's going. The big countries dictate, and that they expect handball.
Right.
Bob, I think, Bobby, I think the problem is a consistency. You'll get two decisions identical in two different games, and you can have two different outcomes. That's what I think annoys everybody.
Leanne's been in here every single week covering this, and that's been the problem, Leanne. We hear from managers as well, the lack of consistency. It's
then when you have two clips very like for like that you can compare. Even today, I'd be surprised if we maybe don't get through the course of the games where there's another incident similar to the one at Michael's game that we debate, or the referee looks at it, perhaps use it differently. But it's consistency, and that's what we're striving for, and I think that transparency as well from the referees. But Bobby's explaining that if that's the criteria, they don't necessarily, at one point they wouldn't have necessarily agreed to it. I don't think many of us necessarily agree with the handball rule, but the reality is that's the laws of the game, and that is the interpretation that we're now all having to follow in order for us to offer consistency. Even on a Saturday in here, there's a lot of the decisions I look at that I don't necessarily think as a footballer I would be pleased if they were given against me. I actually think with the red card decision against Charlie Mulgrew, there was one in our game last Sunday, like for like, probably more glaring than the Charlie Mulgrew one. The referee in our game viewed it as a yellow card. So it's so frustrating at different levels of the Scottish game just now as well. You're getting different types of decisions. The Championship, it will be viewed differently to the Premiership just now, and because you've got the use of VAR as well, that then adds a bit of fuel to the fire.
Kenny, for me, the biggest issue with the handball law is about 4 or 5 years ago when they butchered it and got rid of deliberate or handball. That almost at the same time as the introduction of VAR, I think would have been the perfect opportunity. Keep the law as it was, and then you actually have the ability to be able to look at replays and determine was that deliberate or not. Because for large chunks.
It's a goal.
Yeah.
Accies have got one back. It's a real scramble inside the box. Ball's been knocked over the line. I'll confirm the score in a moment. But the fans who were having a go at the directors have turned round to the pitch again.
Well, they're giving themselves hope. That's what Accies have done, Chip. They're giving themselves a glimmer of hope.
Zanata scored the goal. The corner came in, went beyond the far post, played back in. There was a real scramble inside the box, and eventually it was Zanata who forced over the line from point blank range. It's 2-1 to Arlo on the day, 3-1 to Arlo in aggregate. Remember, Arlo Athletic are down to 10 men, and that has calmed the anger a little bit down in front of me. The stewards have managed to get some of the supporters back to their seats, but never a dull moment, Kenny.
Yeah, well, it's good to hear that things are a bit calmer there in the stand. Certainly there's a question I must ask Bobby just in a couple of minutes time, but let's get around the grounds first of all. So on the field of play there at Tannerice, Michael, what's happening?
Dundee United are the team on top. Ever since they got the penalty kick and scored it, you'd see that confidence flooding back into the side, and they've been playing some pretty good football going forward. Ross County is still a threat. Jordan White, great target man to get up the park.
Goal for St Mirren. Has a ball in the back post. Bain heads it back across. That's Shaughnessy from close range, just volleying it into the back of the net. It's been scrappy, it's been feisty, and this is what we need. We needed a goal, and comes from a set piece. St Mirren 1-0 up.
That could be a huge goal, Leanne,
I'll
in their
return the
race for
favour,
Europe.
Chick.
Yeah, it's a big goal and a good goal at that. I would need to say the delivery really high and deep into the Hearts penalty area. St Mirren do really well.
Oh my goodness! What a goal! It's an equaliser for Hamilton Accies. This is unbelievable. They're right back in this.
Consecutive promotions on the cards.
Andy Winter with a strike. What a strike it is as well inside the box. This place is going mental. It's 2-2, 3-2 to Arla on aggregate.
Chet, should I not be there? And you should be here.
Check, is there any rumours are now singing "Keep the board"? No. You confirm.
One way to answer your critics.
It's an incredible game. What about your game at Pittodrie, Willie Miller? What's happening there?
Yeah, it's a heavy, a strong challenge there on Hayden Coulson. And it's Joe Newell that put it. He got a yellow card there. It's just much of the same, Kenny. You know, it's Hibs that are really controlling the play. They're taking the game to Aberdeen. They've had 3 opportunities. Nisbet had 1, Johan twice. You know, to finish it, but decent goalkeeping, not spectacular goalkeeping, but decent goalkeeping from Roos in goal. But Aberdeen really struggling. They're not putting the passes together. It's breaking down very early. You know, not getting any sequences of passes going here either. Looking a little bit ropey at the back as well. It's as poor as I've seen them play under Barry Robson, but it's still goalless.
So St Mirren in front, Joe Shaughnessy with a goal, Derek, on 36 minutes. Are they deserving of their lead?
Not really, because I think Hearts started the better, dictating play, and they've just gradually got themselves into the game. They've made it a bit of a battle, to be honest with you. I think they needed to change something, and it's just kind of upset the rhythm of Hearts, and they've started to put balls into the box, go a little bit longer, but it's came from a set piece, and you know, and it was well worked. You know, I think Main peels off to that, like Leanne described, back post, good header across, but if you look at it again, probably the marking's woeful. You know, a lot of the Hearts players, defenders looking at each other, but the game needed a goal because it was a little bit too scrappy for my liking. I mean, it's a beautiful day here, beautiful surface, and you know, and I want to see some lovely football, but sometimes this is what you get a bit of a battle, but most important thing, we've got a goal, so hope it kind of maybe calms down a little bit in the sense that we get some better football played.
Your game, Stephen Craigan crying out for a goal down there at Rugby Park.
Yeah, and I have to say, Ken, I think it's crying out for a little bit of quality as well, and I think it's the magnitude of the game that's affecting the Kilmarnock players. You know, they're a little bit apprehensive. You can just tell by their decision making. They're a little bit unhappy, and you know, they're hitting long balls forward, which is bringing frustrations around the outside of the stadium. Livingston haven't an awful lot to play for, apart from personal pride and all that stuff. You know, they don't really have anything to play for positionally, and I think it's impacting their game as well. So it's 0-0 at the minute, and it's very scrappy.
Another opportunity there, Kenny, for Hibs. Kevin Nisbet on the right hand side this time. They took a really quick throw and caught Aberdeen daydreaming, and he's at a tight angle. He's taking it just with the outside of his foot, and he's tried to curl it into the far post, and it's just slipped by that far post. So once again, I'm going to repeat myself, it's all been about Hibs so far, and Aberdeen struggling to make any impact against them.
Yeah, goalless there. What's happening out Dermot Park, Alan Preston?
It's the same, Kenny. St Johnstone certainly had the better of the possession. They've had shots from distance well over the top of the crossbar. They've just actually, Montgomery's won a free kick 19 yards out. But Motherwell have had the ball in the net, which was ruled offside. They've had a couple of efforts as well from Van Veen, apart from that. But St Johnstone are dominating possession without cutting Motherwell open. 41 minutes on the clock, but they now have a free kick at the edge of the box. Still 0-0 here at McDermott Park.
Man United 1, Wolves 0. Anthony Martial with a goal there. Crystal Palace 1, Bournemouth 0. Izzy with a goal on 39. And in the playoff, my goodness, Falkirk 0, Airdrie 1, Gabby McGill on 42 minutes. That is now 7-2 on aggregate to Airdrie over Falkirk. That was an incredible scoreline midweek. Quite the reaction, I have to say, on social media from the Falkirk fans, and understandably so. Just to give you the live Premiership table as things stand: Ross County bottom, 31 points. Kilmarnock 32 points. Dundee United 32 points. United with a better goal difference. Bobby Madden, here's a question. I'm looking forward to the answer to this one. Did you ever referee Michael Stewart? Come on!
Good timing.
As they're coming together.
Yeah.
Appropriate time to interrupt a utterly benign comment. And there's been a coming together between Alex Samuel and Birighitti. The ball over the top, the striker had his eyes on the ball and he's sort of jumped up for it as the keeper was coming out to punch it away, and he's clattered into the goalkeeper. He's down on the deck. The goalie's just got up now.
Oh, it's a sore one.
Yep.
Anyone at fault there, Leanne? Just
No, both players get their eyes fixed on the ball, but what goalkeepers get away with is when they raise that knee to protect themselves.
Brilliant set play
Samuel
for
just
St
gets
John's,
it
done
right
well
in the
saved.
midriff.
Get VAR involved, they'll probably look at it and say it's a red card to both.
Possibly.
Alan, chance?
Just a great set play from St John's. A short corner kick. Van Veen's going to be through at the other end. They broke up. Oh, good defending by Brown. Can he win it again? What a tackle. I tell you, that's a late one as well. Have a look at this, Leanne. It was really, St John's had a really good set play from a corner, but Motherwell broke out quick. It's a really good tackle by Brown. And then he has to go for a second challenge. He's down in agony. The referee
there's a chance. Mate.
Oh!
Oh, no! Oh, my goodness me! It's another goal! And it's another goal for Hamilton Accies.
Oh, wow.
Would you believe it? 5 goals, 1 red card, 1 missed penalty, a substitute on for just 9 minutes, a protest, a storming of the director's box, and after all that, Accies are level with Arloa on this playoff. This is incredible.
Kenny, it could have been 2-0 to St Mirren. A brilliant break. Grieve finding Main down the right hand side. I tell you what, he strikes it ever so well, but what a brilliant save from Xander Clark's big right hand. Gets it out, strong hand it was as well. So it's a big opportunity for St Mirren to take a 2-goal lead, but the keeper coming to the rescue.
It was a good save, Leanne, wasn't it?
It was really good save. I just wondered if Grieve had gone marginally offside, or if he had timed his run to perfection, but a good move from St Mirren.
Chick, that's incredible, that game you've got there, Chick. And the fans now, I take it the board are getting left in peace.
Hang on, here's another one. Oh, and I've scored again. Oh, I don't believe this.
Believe it,
Accies are now 4-2 ahead, 4-3 in aggregate. They've come right rattling back into this, and the players run to the touchline. What a goal. I think it's Andy Winter with the touch. It goes to John Rankin. Oh my goodness me. Celebrations now from the Accies fans after the protest. Oh, Kenny, did you ever see such a thing? It's incredible.
I mean, Chick, it sounds amazing. It does sound absolutely amazing. What drama there. Accies right back in it when they looked dead and buried there in that game in Hamilton. My goodness, what a story that would be if they can hang on this afternoon and if they can do the business. It's been a dreadful season for Hamilton Accies. They really have been struggling. So just looking around the grounds at the moment,
I'm just not sure if there was something happening at Rugby Park there. Don't know if Craggs has got an update for us, if there's anything going on.
Yeah, I think actually initially there was a foul by Gerald Dorset on Newbley. The referee didn't give it, then Dorset then clashed with Jason Holt, and then there was a little bit of coming together, and Newbley's just come in and ushered Dorset away. The referee's just had a quick word with both players. Maybe about 5 minutes ago, Joe Wright had actually brought down Newbley as he broke through. There was another player in the vicinity. Joe Wright had been booked, so there were question marks of possibly a second yellow card, but David Munro just give the free kick and played on. So that was a possible talking point, but that tells you probably how bad the game has been, but we're talking just about cards.
Yeah, 0-0 at Pittodrie at half-time.
Thanks, Willie. Right, so a quick answer, Bobby. Did you have a referee, Michael?
I think a couple of times I was either arrested or he was arrested, but there was one occasion, my early days as fourth official, when he was sent off an off-the-ball incident playing for Hearts at Love Street. It was a fourth official that witnessed that. He gave me some nice compliments on the way past.
Half-time at Devon Park, St Johnstone 0, Motherwell 0.
I can only imagine. Fantastic. What a first half of drama on Sports Sound. As things stand, the bottom of the Premiership table looks like this. Ross County 31 points, Kilmarnock 32, Dundee United 32. In terms of the race for Europe, Aberdeen 54, Hearts 48, Hibs 48, St Mirren right back in it there in front in Paisley. They are on 47 points, so all to play for there. What games are we still? You're still playing there in Paisley, Derek?
Yeah, we had that minute silence as well, so I think we've just got it's a couple of minutes of time added on.
Half-time here at Rugby Park, Kenny, 0-0.
Yeah, sounds a shocker for Stephen down there at Rugby Park. You just feel it's a game that Derek McInnes needs to win. Livy have been in a really poor run of form. Of course, they're completely safe. Nothing for them to play for apart from, I guess, places, and that comes with prize money in the top flight. So we are still going at Tannadice, Michael?
Yep, what Bobby fails to tell you is that red card would be rescinded, but yeah, it's still playing here at Tannadice. There's a player down on the far side. I think it's Loic Hyena's down. There was a coming together with Jordan White. But, yeah, the game stopped at the moment. It's going to be a bye kick or a free kick for Ross County.
Yeah, same here, Kenny. It was Hill just going up with, I think it's O'Hara, way over on the left-hand side. I don't think there's anything in it. I don't think it's malicious, but he certainly get clattered. Sore one, but I think he looks okay.
Half-time in the playoff match, Dumbarton 0, Annan 0. Annan did the business in the first leg midweek, 6-0. They beat Dumbarton. They, of course, led League Two for so long, but it's just all fallen away in recent weeks. Yeah, Chick, how on earth do you write a match to
have
put
a lie down, Chick? Go check out that wedding.
I only go into a wedding with a couple of large ones. It's what a game. It's just to show you're keeping up. It's 4-2 to Aki's on the day, 4-3 in aggregate. We've had a red card, a missed penalty, a substitute on for 9 minutes, a protest, a storming of the director's box, and a party with the protesters now deliriously happy with life.
Typical Dane Hamilton.
Nothing get on.
Check.
It's half-time here at Tannadice. They just blew the whistle after that incident. It's 1-1.
Yeah, 1-1 there. What a start it was for County. Jordan White with the opening goal on 1 minute. Then that Jamie McGrath penalty for the home side, a handball. He tucked that away. He's great in the penalty spot, McGrath. He tucked that away on 24 minutes. We kicked off today, the lunchtime kick-off. Rangers 3, Celtic 0. Cantwell, Suter and Sakala with the goals there. 0-0 Aberdeen against Hibs. Kilmarnock 0, Livingston 0. Stephen Telling's a really poor game down there. St Johnstone 0, Motherwell 0, and St Mirren just heading to the break there, Derek, with a narrow advantage over Hearts.
Yeah, they've got a free kick. Are we over on that left-hand side? Free kick, right foot, straight in! Oh! Different gravy, by the way. That is absolutely brilliant. I'm trying to figure out how it is. I know Kilty was over there. Ryan
Strain it is.
But it's, the Strain with right foot just curls it. I thought he was going to go for the far left-hand corner. Goes for the near side. It's low, it's hard, and Xander Clark, he's pulled off a brilliant save. Just couldn't quite get there. But this club this crowd absolutely loving it. St Mirren go 2-0 up.
Yeah, that's a huge goal there, and I know a lot of St Mirren fans that have got dreams of following their club in Europe this season. 97 was the last time they did it against Mechelen. We'd had a St Mirren fan on a couple of weeks ago in the phone-in part of the programme with his memories of that. Some of these new breed St Mirren fans could be experiencing it next season. No,
it's brilliant. It's an excellent free kick as well. Ryan Strain does really well. Gets a lot of whip on it, a lot of power, and I think it's actually the power that outdoes Xander Clark, to be honest. I think it was more goalkeeper's height, a bit higher. Clark might have got there, but it's the fact he's going to the opposite side of his goal and trying to get down low as well.
That's half-time, Chick. Chick, I'm obsessed with Chick Young. Half-time, Kenny.
That's not a good place to be, Derek. Fantastic. Listen, what a first half of action. We'll go through all the half-time scores. We'll have a look at that all-important Premiership table. So much happening in Scottish football. And remember, we're with you right through until 7 o'clock on Sports Sound.
All the grounds, all the goals, all the news.
This is Open All Mics from Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
We kicked off at midday on Sports Sound. It was a 12:30 start at Ibrox. Rangers 3, Celtic 0. Todd Cantwell on 5 minutes. John Suter on 34. Fashion Sakala on 70 minutes. 5 big games kicking off at 3 o'clock in the top flight this afternoon. The first goal of the day came at Tannadice. Dundee United against Ross County. There for us, Michael Stewart.
Yeah, right from the kick-off, Kenny. Ross County got the ball down the park, went out for a corner kick, and from that resulting corner, the captain Jack Baldwin round the back post, knocking it into the middle of the goal, and Jordan White was on hand just to knock it into the back of the net and put Ross County 1-0 up. And for the opening stages of the game, they looked threatening. looked like the team that was threatening to get themselves further in front. Dundee United understandably going 1-0 down so early, a little bit rocked, took their time to settle into the game, and then 25 minutes they got a penalty kick, ball out on the corner of the box with Aziz Behic. He threw the ball into the box, and as Josh Sims was coming back in to make the challenge, it came up off his arm, went to VAR, and John Beaton decided that the penalty kick was the correct decision. And Jamie McGrath, the man who steps up for all the penalty kicks for Dundee United, and just calmly slotted it into the other side of the goal as Ross Laidlaw was diving away. And 1-1 is at this stage in the game. And Dundee United, to be fair, from that point have been the better side. They've been more threatening, they've been more confident, and Ross County is still a threat. Jordan White at the top end of the park is a dangerous target man. But as we go into half-time here, it's 1-1 at Tannadice.
Yeah, I think it's a full house at Tannadice this afternoon. It's certainly a full house at Pittodrie. Willie Miller, Aberdeen against Hibs.
18,620 to be precise, and I've shook hands with every one of them. It's not been inspirational from the home side. In fact, it's all been about the visitors. Hibs have been pretty much outstanding. They've controlled the game, they've dominated midfield, and they've had 4 good efforts and decent chances in the game to Aberdeen's 1. Nisbet's a threat constantly. Johan as well, a threat down the left hand side with his pace and his directness. Nisbet having the first shot in goal, it's well saved by Kel Roos in goal. The second one coming from Johan down the left hand side, using that pace and that directness to go by the Aberdeen defender, setting up the opportunity for the strike. It was a tight angle and it was well saved again, and then Nisbet just being a little bit too quick, a little bit too anxious to get to the near post as Johan went down that left hand side again, got his head up, tried to pick him out, but it was just beyond the near post, and his effort went by that post. And then Nisbet again, just late in the game, he takes it with the outside of his right foot to the right hand side of the penalty box. He tries to just curl it towards the back post, and agonisingly he's watched it just drift past. A big opportunity for him in that occasion. In fact, 4 good opportunities, but still goalless at half time. For Aberdeen, they're poor in midfield. They've got no control in the midfield. Normally a lot of energy in there with Duncan Clarkson and Ramadani, but they've been outplayed in that department, and Majowski and Duke have been no threat whatsoever up front. So that big crowd a little bit disappointed at half time, but still plenty of time to put that right. 0-0 at half time here at Pittodrie.
Thank you to Willie Miller. St Mirren in complete control at half time in Paisley. Derek Ferguson.
Yeah, the home crowd certainly enjoying this one at the moment. St Mirren 2, Hearts. No, Hearts, they started brightly, dictating play, looking dangerous, certainly down that right hand side, with James Hull putting in some dangerous crosses into good areas, but the Hearts front men slow to react at times. The game, it was a bit feisty, a bit scrappy. It was crying out for a goal. We got one in 36 minutes. St Mirren with a well worked set piece, a corner kick from the right hand side, finding Main away at the back post area. He headed it back across, finding Joe Shaughnessy to volley home from close in. The Buddies should have made it 2-0 in 43 minutes. Grieve finding his strike partner Main. His shot, it was well struck, but what a magnificent save it was from Xander Clark in goals. But right on the break, it was O'Hara away in that left hand side. Won himself a free kick. It was Hull putting his head across O'Hara. Yes, it was a free kick, but I tell you what, step up Ryan Strain to absolutely whack the ball home from 22 yards out to send the crowd absolutely wild. So it's 2-0 St Mirren. Hearts, well, they have amounted to climb this second half. St Mirren 2, Hearts 0.
So a great game there in Paisley. That's definitely not the case at Rugby Park. Stephen Craigan, come on against Livy.
Yeah, Ken, I think coming down today, I didn't really expect a lot of goals. When you look at the poor record in front of goal from both sides, that probably tells you the reason why they've struggled, not just in recent weeks, but probably over the season at times. I think it's just lack quality for one reason or another, and I think the ball is as glad as I was to hear the referee's half-time whistle. That's just been kicked up and down, it's been booted about, players have been frightened to take a touch and even just make simple passes. And I think that's just the nerves, particularly for the home side, and they had the best chances after the quarter of an hour mark. Kyle Vassell went through one-on-one with Shamal George. I don't think at any stage it was convincing that he was going to score. He right into the midriff of George to keep the score at 0-0. Vassell then had a shot from 25 yards right down the throat of George moments later. David Watson had a header from about 10 yards into the hands off George as well. And for Livingston, Joel Newbley had a shot probably from 25 yards, just whizzed past the outside of Sam Walker's left-hand post, but that's been about it for them. And as the song goes from D. Ream, things can only get better. Let's hope that's the case in the second half. It's Kilmarnock 0, Livingston 0.
And a similar story for you, Alan Preston at McDermott Park.
It's not a classic, Kenny. St Johnstone had a lot of possession and shots from distance from Phillips, Carey and May, but well over the top of the crossbar. As far as Motherwell concerned, Van Veen had a left foot shot, then he had the ball in the net in 32 minutes. It was a tackle in the Motherwell half. It ricochets through to Van Veen. He's slow coming back. He puts the ball in the back of the net, but rightly the assistant puts his flag up to rule the goal out. That's been about it here at McDermott Park, with the scoreline is St Johnstone 0, Motherwell 0.
So in the Premiership, it finished at lunchtime. Rangers 3, Celtic 0, Aberdeen 0, Hibs 0, Dundee United 1, Ross County 1, Kilmarnock 0, Livingston 0, St Johnstone 0, Motherwell 0, St Mirren 2, Hearts 0. Looking at the live table, top to bottom, Celtic 95 points, Rangers 85, Aberdeen in third, 54 points, Hearts 48, Hibs now on to 48 points with that draw and Hearts being behind, and St Mirren there right back in the hunt for a place in Europe. St Mirren 47 points, just a point behind the Edinburgh duo. Into the bottom half of the table, Livingston 43, Motherwell 41, St Johnstone 37, and then it gets really, really interesting. D United 32 points, Kilmarnock 32, Ross County 31 points. Let's then get to Chick Young. My goodness, Chick, you have watched an incredible first half there in Hamilton.
If you're sitting comfortably, I'll begin. First half, 6 goals, 1 red card, 1 missed penalty, a sack the board protest, a storming of the director's box, a substitute who was on for 9 minutes, and Hamilton at 1 point, 3 down in aggregate, now 1 ahead, and it's only half time. Alloa come out the traps in grand style. Salmon, although I think the goal went right in, it was a free kick on the right side. Cammy O'Donnell swung it in. Some claim that Connor Salmon got a touch. I'm not sure he did. In any case, Alloa were 1-0 up. Then they were awarded a penalty. Stephen Skugel took the penalty. The goalkeeper saved it, but he knocked in the rebound, and suddenly Alloa Athletic were 3 ahead in aggregate. Then they suffered a red card. Taggart was sent off. John Rankin came on to replace him. Luke Rankin came on to replace him, and then the manager decided to change his tactics. Graham came on, and Rankin was on the pitch for just 9 minutes. Had to come on, off again, and then Aki started an incredible comeback. 4 goals between 2 players, Zanata and Winter. It was Zanata, Winter, Zanata, Winter in that order. Amidst all that, with a huge protest, stewards trying to control fans from getting at the directors. They wanted to sack the board, and other expressions I couldn't possibly repeat on this radio station. Real anger, real problems in the air. But suddenly that great group of supporters are back, corralled in their own area, and actually partying now, because as we stand, Aki's, despite all the complaints, all the problems, all the issues, are a goal ahead on aggregate. And it's the former manager of this club, Brian Rice, in charge of Alloa Athletic. It's just an astonishing afternoon. Scottish football at its soap opera best. What happens next, I have no idea, but it's breathless, absolutely breathless in Lanarkshire this afternoon. Yeah, sensational stuff. Now, Chick is one of these people that has a look at Twitter but claims he doesn't have an account. I'm not so sure. There is a Twitter account called We Are Scottish Football who have just tweeted, Chick Young is comedy gold on BBC Sports Sound. Sign him up on a 5-year contract. I think there'll be no point in 5 years. I don't think I've got that left.
You never know, Charles. We live in hope.
Listen, and I'm more serious. I was going to suggest something. I heard the guys talking about Player of the Year. It's the players' dinner tomorrow night. Kenny will attend that, and they'll award their young player and all that. The Football Writers Association, which is 2 weeks tomorrow, have a slightly different problem. Our young Player of the Year has to be Scottish, has to be playing in Scotland, has to be under 21. We are really struggling for candidates who are playing any length of that kind of a situation. A lot of young players playing abroad, we know that. I think Max Johnston at Motherwell is clearly a candidate. I think Leon King at Rangers, who's played 12 games for Rangers this season, and Ethan Erahon, who only played half a season with St Mirren. I'm really struggling to find other players in Scotland who come into that category, Scottish, playing in Scotland under 21, and that's maybe why we've got to have great faith in Stevie Clarke. There aren't too many candidates around, Kenny, and I think that's a real issue for the Scottish game.
Chick, it's a good point. We can bring that up with the guys in the second half and open all mics. I also want the guys to give us their thoughts on who should be manager of the year. So as Chick telling us, half-time, Hamilton Accies 4, Alloa 2. Alloa down to 10 men in that game. Falkirk 0, Airdrie 1. Airdrie comfortably going through there after the rout mid-week. And also in the playoffs this afternoon, Dumbarton 0, Annan Athletic 0. Again, Annan did the business midweek. In the Pyramid playoff final, first leg, Spartans 0, Albion Rovers 1. So that's you right up to date with all the scores on Sports Sound.
They are chance takers.
And Glasgow are over for the score.
They are history makers.
A shot at a first European trophy.
They're the ones that have done that. They got themselves to this final.
They are Glasgow Warriors.
And Warriors just power over the line.
Franco Smith's men beat Scarlets to reach the European Challenge Cup final.
Glasgow versus Toulon in Dublin, not one to be missed.
Can they go on to lift the silverware?
This is a great chance.
Sports Sound Rugby.
And Warriors are over for the score.
Friday from 7 on digital radio or play BBC Radio Scotland Extra.
Chance, chance, chance! And it's a goal! Oh, what a goal!
All the action from all the biggest games.
Oh, it's the second goal!
This is Open All Mics from Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Welcome to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland.
Goal, Kenny! Sorry, you joined me at the right time. I had to jump in. Kyle Vassell gets his first goal, his first league goal of the season, shall I say, for Kilmarnock. A long ball up the pitch. He gets in down that left-hand side. I said he missed one in the first half. He wasn't convincing. Boy, was he convincing this time. He just put his laces right behind the ball, struck through it lovely. Too much pace, too much power on it. Shamal George couldn't keep it out. Rugby Park can relax and take a breath. Kilmarnock 1, Livingston 0.
Vassell does really well. Craggs, he does everything right, going back across goalkeeper, but in the first viewing I'm probably questioning the goalkeeper. Could he have got more on it? I think Vassell was only going to put it one place. He protects his front area, gets a hand to it, but just not strong enough to keep it out. Defensively, sorry Michael.
No, I thought you were finished there, sorry Leanne. There's a corner kick here at Tannadice, but I'm just wondering where John Beaton's getting a word in his ear. David Cancola was driving into the box, got a touch on the ball, looked like there was a challenge. I think he is just holding it up for the officials in the VAR office to have a look and confirm whether it was a penalty or whether there was nothing in it.
Just did a replay of it there, Michael. Doesn't look like there's too much contact, I would need to say, at first viewing. Don't know, Bobby, if you're seeing anything else.
It's whether you believe that's normal football contact or not. I think the defender
puts
their
foot in.
It's
a penalty kick.
Alan.
It's gone to Motherwell. Andrew Considine on the tackle at the edge of the box. I don't think he sees the Motherwell player coming. And he tries to kick it away. He's right on the edge of the box. Referee had no hesitation pointing to the spot. So I think it's O'Donnell he brings down. Leanne will get a look at it.
Yeah, hopefully get a replay, but I've just seen it in real time there, Alan. It does look like a penalty, I would need to say, but it's good play, you would need to say, from a Motherwell perspective, just getting yourself in front, in between player and ball, certainly. Get a better view of it here, hopefully. As you say, I don't think Andy Considine knows too much about it. He just goes to clear. That's O'Donnell that he brings down.
Yeah, and it's Van Veen's going to take this, looking for his 26th goal of the season. He'll take it right-footed.
I'm going to come to Bobby here as well. I mean, they will check it, but actually look there that is it, if they given
Keeper
it.
saved it, brilliant save. What a save that is. It's not a great penalty. Goalie dives to his right hand side, gets a good hand on it and knocks it away. We are waiting until making sure that he was on his line. He's getting checked again, but not a great penalty from Van Veen. Has to be a lot of power, but too close to the keeper.
No, it wasn't a good penalty. All I was going to say was I actually thought that O'Donnell's foot planted on top of Andy Considine just as the two players came together.
Is he not quite far off his line there?
No, it's getting checked. That's what we're waiting on. The game's not restarted yet.
I mean, I'm not being biased. I can see from here at Rugby Park they certainly didn't have 1 foot on the line.
It looked quite far off, Craggs.
Yeah, he's going to check it. It's a retake. He's off his line. Van Veen will get a chance to get his 26th goal of the season again.
Is it not 20? Is it 25th? Has he got 24?
I think he's got 25, is he not?
25.
Right, do you know what? There's quite a lot to go through. So we saw the Dundee United one. Was that the correct call to wave that one on?
Absolutely normal contact.
Right, OK. The correct decision toward the penalty at McDermott.
Yep, the attacker's got himself in front of Considine and there's contact in the back of the foot.
Right, and again, fairly obvious coming off the line.
Absolutely, I think he's 4 or 5 inches off the line.
It'll be Van Veen yet again. Wonder where he'll go this time. Comes up and he dinks it down the middle. What a composure that is. The goalie dives the same way. Van Veen just dinks it. Not happy. St Johnstone are not happy at all. He's grabbed the ball, he's put up his strip. St Johnstone players are not happy one bit. Great composure, 1-0 to Motherwell.
The thing is, they can be unhappy.
It's the right thing, Leanne, wasn't it?
That's it. That's the laws. Do you know, and he has come off his line. There's nothing to debate about it. You gain that slight advantage. I don't like the rule personally because I'm not sure 5 inches is making too much of a difference with regards to the Kevin Van Veen penalty. That wasn't great. I don't know if the goalkeeper's gained too much of an advantage, but it is what it is.
See, with the laws of the game there, when it's a retake, can you change penalty taker?
Yeah,
you can. Yeah, you can do that. Well, Kevin Van Veen, what a season he is having.
Eighth successive game he scored in, Kenny.
Fantastic season,
and I think that's 11 goals in that period. It was the point I was trying to make earlier on. Motherwell without his goals would be deep in a relegation battle. I was trying to mention about Kyogo. I think he scored something like 20% of Celtic goals. You know, Celtic would still have won the league if Kyogo hadn't scored his goals. Motherwell would have been deep in relegation trouble if Kevin Van Veen's goals hadn't counted.
St Johnstone, I think it's 5 players it takes for St Johnstone to get to the tally that Van Veen's got. It's incredible.
Will he be on his way, Stephen?
Yeah, he will be, Kenny, absolutely, no doubt about it. I mean, you can't score that number of goals and not attract attention somewhere else. I generally think he could go to somewhere like Rangers and be an impact player. You know, when you play away from home up against compact defences and it's tight, you need someone with a little bit of flair to do something different. He had four involvements in the game last week against Kilmarnock, and every single one of them were absolutely sublime and just opened up defences. So I'm not sure Michael Beale will take him. I just think he could go there and do a job coming off the bench.
There's a chance. Oh, he's missed it. Flags up. Surely Murphy had to be offside. Again, Bobby, this is a rule I hate. See, when it's really clear and he's obviously 3 or 4 yards offside, can you not just put the flags up?
Off the post. It's Johan again threatening down
there's a chance here at Tannadice. Oh, tell you what, Birighitti has just saved himself. The ball's played back, no real trouble. All the players were up the park. Jamie McGrath knocks it back to the goalkeeper. He slips. Laturi got onto the ball, but he just couldn't get round the keeper. He got up quick enough to snaffle the ball back off of Laturi, and as I said, saved himself big time. Looked as if that was going to be 2-1 for Ross County, but
this is nasty. This is nasty. Referees coming over. Looks as though it could be a red card there. I'm just trying to pick out who it was. It was Scales that goes down for Aberdeen. He was the player that was caught by the stud. And it was Josh Campbell that came in with the real high studs round about his neck. Now Campbell's lying down there. I think he's taken a knock in the face as well, but both players are struggling. They're getting pretty intensive care from the physios. 4 physios on the pitch, 2 per player, and it was a real awkward one. The referee still got to make a decision, but it was a high boot from Josh Campbell, potential red card perhaps, and we're waiting to see what the outcome is.
Round his neck. Oh, here's a chance for Ross County. Oh, the keeper saved it. Still, oh my, I cannot believe Sims has missed that.
Oh no, I don't believe it. We're starting again. It's a comedy of errors from Arlo at the back, and Hamilton Accies are now 5-2 ahead.
Oh my goodness.
On the day. It's astonishing. It's a ball in the air. The goalkeeper, Jay Hogarth, goes to get it. He drops it. It spins. I think an Accies player got it over the line. I'm not quite sure who it was, but in any case, the Wasps are all over the place, and I'm convinced now that Hamilton Accies will be reaching out for survival in the championship. What a day.
You're getting to the stage where the socks and shoes are having to come off for accounting.
I think he's getting paid by the word today, Alan. He's making a fortune.
Kenny, see when he says we'll start, I thought that was just kick-off in the second half. That was brilliant.
Oh, fantastic. Andy Winter again, and my goodness, 5-3 on aggregate after these protests against the board that Chick was telling us about. Liam, what have we got there at Pittodrie?
Yeah, we're just getting a look at it. I'm probably a bit surprised, really, if I'm being honest, because I don't think that Scales is ducked into the challenge either. And I think when your boot's that high, you've got to be, for me, endangering an opponent. Now, I do think that Campbell's got his eyes fixed on the ball to a point, but I mean, how high can you lift your foot in that type of instance? So he's probably lucky just to get away with the yellow. I'd need to say that. I'm not sure if Bobby's in an agreement here.
I think
you've not had one early on with Kilmarnock.
That's it, and there was a lot of debate on that, and I think we have a very similar.
Van Veen again! Oh, he's not got enough on the shot, right into the hands of Matthews.
And that's
that's Bobby. That's inconsistency.
I knew you were
again.
going to say it. I knew you were going to say
it. Is he right?
And I think it's correct. I think you're approaching an opponent like that with your foot at that height, you run the risk of a red card.
So would you be given that there?
I think when you see the replay, I would expect a red card.
It was very high. It was. You know, Liam Scales is a tall player as well. He hasn't went down. Hasn't dipped down at all. The boot was round about his neck. It was dangerous. It was reckless. For me, I think it's a red card.
So, Bobby, you would recommend, if you were VAR ref, for the referee to go and have a look?
Yep, I definitely would.
And as an on-field referee, if you had a look at it, you would give a red card?
Yes.
Okay. And you'd feel let down. We've discussed this with some of the big horrendous calls that have been this season. As an on-field referee, we think about the Considine handball, there's been various ones. As an on-field referee, when you see that later, you've got to feel let down by your VAR colleagues, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. You probably, a lot of the time, you want the opportunity to see it again, but there's this reluctance to do that because the expectation is when you go to the monitor, the decision will change. But as a referee, I would appreciate an opportunity to see that again.
In that moment, Bobby, what do you think Nick Walsh has decided there then? Just that there was no intent to endanger
well, I think it's because if you're moving towards the opponent, they say if you see they come through your blind side and you don't know, it's a surprise to you, so there's no endanger. But if he's moving towards the opponent, yes, his eyes are on the ball, but you've got a responsibility to protect your opponent.
Bobby, that's interesting what you've just said there, in that if it's on your blind side and you don't see him, then it comes into it's not endangering because it was a surprise. Now that to me is common sense. That would, for me, fall into that category because Josh Campbell, now you can argue in terms of peripheral vision, he should see him, but I've just, seen a replay there. I think that is very borderline. And, ultimately, with a red card, what you try to do, you're trying to punish somebody and try to alleviate those instances in games. And I'm not sure when you get surprised like that you can alleviate that. It's in the back of the net. It's a goal for Ross County. Unbelievable. Victor Latore was down the right-hand side. He had a shot, he absolutely sclaffs it, it comes into the middle of the goal, and Jordan White is there, and he dinks it over Birighitti, and it goes in at a trundling pace into the back of the net, right in the corner, and it's 2-1 to Ross County. Sorry, to go back to the incident at Pittodrie, I don't think it is deliberate. I think he's caught blindsided, and I've got a reluctance to be punishing players for things that are not deliberate, and that
would you agree it was high?
Yes, it was unquestionably.
Willie, his neck.
Do you think he's got time though to pull out of that, Michael? Because I don't know if the two of them are almost facing each other.
There's a chance for St Johnson. They're through. Audrey Wright gets it wrong.
I don't think he's got time to pull out of it. I mean, the point is, right, say you red card them, like that makes no difference in terms of, oh well, you just can't do it. I mean, if the player isn't there, i.e. Liam Scales, then he's going to put his foot up to try to control the ball. And to Josh Campbell, he doesn't see the player there. So I think it falls into what Bobby said in terms of if it is blindside and it's a surprise, it falls into the category of it's not endangering the player because he didn't know he was there. And that to me is a borderline one, because I could accept somebody arguing you should be able to see him out your peripheral vision, but it's very, very close for me, that.
I think you're right. You see the ball dropping over Campbell's right shoulder. He's focused on that, and just as he becomes aware of the Aberdeen defender coming in, at what point do you remove the offence here? So the discussion would be, did he endanger the opponent or did he show a disregard? And that's the language we need to use. What's worked in the referee's favour there is both players are down receiving treatments. We might actually have some dialogue with the VAR and find a solution, which I don't know if Nick could have given a quick decision, he might have came with a different
and also on the field of play, Michael, it's dreadful defending, isn't it, again from United?
It's not particularly great, no.
Oh, big chance there for Josh Campbell. Nisbet is screaming for it at the near post, and Cadden decides to cut it back. He slides in, he doesn't get enough on it, he just gets his toe on it. He's only, maybe 7-8 yards out, say 8 yards out there, and he puts it by the far post. Another huge opportunity for Hibs. Got a begging.
Yeah, it wasn't particularly great defending for Dundee United. I mean, it's another one of those instances where in the middle of the goal, Jordan White has got too much space, you know, and they've been punished. Ross County, I mean, the game's been pretty good in the second half. It's been end to end, both sides really going at it, and it's a massive goal for Ross County. I mean, this is a genuine, you know, 6-pointer. That cliche gets chucked about a fair bit, but this one is
bang on.
So much involved in this.
Yeah, just looking at the bottom of the table then, United 2 points adrift now, 31 points. County 33 in that playoff spot. Kilmarnock clear right now, 34. St John's still in the mix. Yeah, they're still in it, Alan,
they're still
aren't
in it, very much in
it. Yeah,
36
points.
They've made a change.
Yeah, they're just 3 points clear, Alan, as things stand at that playoff spot.
Yeah, no, we'll all get each other to play. This is why we love the playoffs, Kenny. They've not created enough today, St Johnstone. Have had a lot of the ball, but created very, very little.
Sorry, Kenny, there's a VAR check here at McDermott, at Rugby Park. Christian Doidge, I think, had like an overhead kick effort. It's hit some part of some defender's body, but we have a delay in case Leanne can have a look.
Yeah, we'll just wait for a replay. Crags have missed that. It's over in the screen on the far side of the studio. Yeah, but I'll keep an eye on it, as will Bobby. Hopefully we can get a bit of clarity for you.
Yeah, Davy Martindale's pacing up and down there on the touchline. The players waiting. Here we go.
Certainly taken a while, I've got to say. We're well over a minute now.
Check, there's a young boy to vote for as well. Adam Montgomery, 20 years of age, Scottish, played a lot of games for St Johnstone in the Premier League.
Alan, I know you care, pass. I want to go down. This is an important point. The trick's rates, right?
Yeah, it comes off it comes off of Holt, effectively, Crags. His arm is well above his body, but I actually think the contact is on his shoulder.
Well, the referee's coming to have a look.
His arm is above his body, and that's what I'm assuming that the referee is going to look at to make his own decision.
Would you both give a penalty?
If it comes off his arm, it's a penalty, because he's turned his back in the ball, he's stretched his arm above his head. But so, for me, it looks like it's probably borderline T-shirt line, back of the arm.
Yep, so his arm's up well above his head. It's where the point of contact is. And you talk about the T-shirt line, I think it's beyond the T-shirt line, so I would expect a penalty kick here.
Well, David Munro is at the side of the pitch. Here's having a look. The Kilmarnock fans are about to.
Yeah, I think it's come off his elbow, Craig.
He's given the penalty kick.
My God, this is a huge moment. Whoever's taking this penalty is under big pressure. This could seal the points, Craig.
Well, it could, you know, and it would relieve a little bit of pressure and the tension around here at Rugby Park. Of course, you know, there was a lot of talk that Kilmarnock could push for top 6 this season. They are deep in the relegation, but there's a yellow card as well for Jason Holt, so it will be Daniel Armstrong. He's probably been Kilmarnock's best player this season, the most productive with regards goals and assists. Just his general all-round play has been very, very good. So a big moment coming up for Daniel Armstrong and for Kilmarnock. Livingston, I think, since the goal, they've been a little bit deflated. The second goal will certainly knock the stuffing out of them. Referee blows a whistle. Daniel Armstrong, hands on hips, steps up, has the little run round, and he goes into the right-hand corner past Jamal George. He dives the wrong way, and I think it's a huge sigh of relief once again around Rugby Park. The home form has been good. I think that's going to be 29 points of their points accumulated this season. Arrived here at Rugby Park, 3 games to go after today, 2 more here at Rugby Park. They're certainly in the driving seat this afternoon. Kilmarnock 2, Livingston 0.
Dundee United bottom, 31 points. Ross County playoff spot, 33. Kilmarnock now clear, 34 points. St Johnstone right back in the mix, 36. Just 3 points clear of County in that playoff spot. Incredible drama in Scottish football for you this afternoon.
Kenny, see that instant down at Rugby Park? What was given? Did the referee give it to begin with or not?
No, he actually pointed for a corner kick.
I mean, for me, I mean, there's not even any debate. You see that once, it's, you know,
I haven't had a look at it, so
I'm one of the biggest, you know, critics of the handball law in terms of the way it's interpreted at times. But that, his arms are up, you know, and he's turned his back as well. So for me, no question about it, 100% all day long, that is a penalty kick.
It was mentioned earlier, Michael, and I think the right thing to do as a referee, unfortunately with handball, as you mentioned, is right, okay, it's hitting the contact's there, but take the opportunity, take the still and have a look at it, because if you give them and it's any dubiety, you're then stuck with the decision. I think you're better to hold back, but I agree with what you're saying, that one is a clear penalty.
How much pressure do the referees feel under getting called to the screen? Because Alan talks about this week in, week out. I think it's only Willie Collum that
and he got it wrong.
he got it wrong when he called it. He went with his own decision and then he got it wrong.
Yep, so I think that, as I say, when it was introduced, VAR obviously came through UEFA first. They always said they want the expectation to be when you go to the monitor, you'll change the decision. They wanted nothing else. FIFA have got a different approach. They want you to review and give consideration to all the available facts, as they call it. But in Scotland, it's the same interpretation. They only want you really to go to the monitor if you're going to change the decision.
Right.
So then effectively, it is the VAR. You know, because we keep hearing. You know, we've had so many officials on talking about how it's the match day official on the park who makes the decision. And clearly it isn't, because if they're getting called over, the VAR ones that's told them.
They believe there's clear and obvious evidence that they've made an error, so they would invite them over to review it. Yep. But we don't want to see multiple reviews in every match. You know, there was the instant you spoke about in your game, Michael, there, the contact in the penalty area. Some people might find a way to say, I think that's a penalty kick.
Well, do you know this, Bobby? I heard the way you described it, normal contact. Thank goodness. You know, football is a contact sport, so get on with it. So I'm delighted there wasn't any review there. It was just get on with the game.
And that's what we all want to see.
What's happening in your game, Pittodrie, Willie?
Yeah, it's a decent game of football. There's been plenty of opportunities for Hibs and they haven't taken them. So, you know, after the game, if they don't take anything from this game or the 3 points, then they'll be looking back on the chances that they created, you know, and be very, very disappointed. I think Aberdeen are looking very jaded indeed. It's the worst performance so far under Barry Robson. They look as though they're lacking energy out there. They've had very little to shout about in terms of creating their own opportunities. Only a Coulson shot and a Ryan Duncan shot, both of them well over the bar. Nothing else to report there, whereas Hibs have had 5 good opportunities. They're playing some good football, Hibs. Well impressed with them. They look strong at the back.
There's a chance. It's another great save from Xander Clark. That was Kilty this time. Just pulled off a good save from Ryan Strain there, and Hearts, like the first half, they've started well. They've actually changed. Ken, they went to a back 3. They brought Atkinson on, took Andy Halliday off, and they've been bossing possession. But just like the first half, they're slowly starting to kind of, fade away. And St Mirren coming into it. A couple of great efforts there, a couple of great saves from Xander Clark, and goals kept them in the game actually. So
Derek, it's quite worrying for Hearts, isn't it? You know, you change the manager for an uplift and that could be 3 defeats out of 4 for Stephen Naismith.
They need to go and appoint a manager. It's as simple as that. It's all right, McKinley and Savage saying we're going to give it time and we'll see. Go and appoint a manager. Give them time.
Would you give it to Naismith?
No, if they lose today, I don't think they can. You know, losing to Hibs, which is fine, first game, then losing to Celtic's fine. They beat Ross County at home, who were bottom of the league. And if they lose today, I don't see how they can give him it.
They've not created anything today. I think he's changed it a little bit. Obviously the back 3, try to get players forward, but little creativity. I think Oda at times, he looks as if he's going to do something, but no, they look very passive, and just a St Mirren side looking comfortable. They're soaking up a little bit of pressure, and then they're breaking on them really well and causing trouble, but no, they don't look dangerous.
Derek, it's strange to think that at one point they were so far out in third and now actually finishing 4th is up for debate.
Yeah. Throwing the baby out with the bathwater, that's what's happened at Tynecastle.
Do you think so? I
don't think there's any question.
It was interesting, Michael, because I know you were on with some Hearts fans. I think was it just the first game after Robbie had been sacked, and they said they didn't like saying it, but they felt it was the correct decision. But I know at that point you raised serious concerns over it.
Well, because, and Alan brings up the point there right now, in that go and appoint a manager. The problem is that you've now got all the preparations for the new season, because it's done so late in the year, up for debate as to what's happening, what's the recruitment, who they want to sign, who's the manager going to be, are players getting kept, all these things that are now being delayed, which has an impact, because Leanne mentions obviously 4th is up for debate, but if they finish 4th, there's still the opportunity of group European football, but you have to do it through the qualifiers. But those things are happening quick. They're happening, not long after you're coming back in the start of the season. Now, of course, it was a horrendous run of form that Hearts were on, but look at what had been done before that. And for me personally, I just think so much hard work was put in. The club have progressed massively. Terrible run of results, but I just think it's been panic, because there's a number of people on the board who are obviously fan representatives who own the club now, under massive pressure, and I just think that they've pressed the panic button, they've thrown the baby out with the bathwater. That is my personal view. It's not to say that they won't go out there and get a good appointment, but all of that has been done.
Oh, good challenge, magnificent tackle there. I think it was Angus MacDonald that put the... Oh, it's another... Oh, it just goes by the far post. Hibs again, another great opportunity. Johan first with the shot. And then it's a magnificent tackle, I think, if you can see it. Leanne at all.
Brilliant, Willie. Yeah, I'm actually looking at that and just thinking, when you think back to Aberdeen earlier on in the season, the cheap goals that they conceded, that they lost, even when they had good numbers behind the ball, and you look at that challenge from McDonald, literally body on the line stuff. The distance that he makes up to make the challenge is brilliant.
What is the goalie doing here? He's off his line. Matthews is actually taking out his own player. Happens every week. Goalies come rushing off the line. Just stay back. Considine will deal with it. It's a bouncing ball. He comes out. Van Veen's with him. He clatters his own player. The referee has to stop play because it looks like it's a head knock for Andrew Considine. Goalkeepers, who would have them, honestly? Stay on your line.
It's interesting, actually, Willie giving us a report from Pittodrie saying that Hibs may regret, not taking the full points. Just looking at the stats, Willie, 52% possession for the away side, 10 shots to the home side, 6, 3 on target, also dominating the corners. This sounds like a very good performance from the away side, all bar the finished product.
Oh, it's a very, very good performance from them. They've dominated proceedings, there's no doubt about that. They've created opportunities. They look strong at the back, they're controlled in the middle, and up top with Nisbet and Johan. You're talking about a real threat there with their pace and their ability to find a bit of space as well.
Chance! Oh, Dundee United have fluffed it there at the end. It was Jamie McGrath over on the left hand side. He was jinking one way than the other. He cut back onto his right foot and put a brilliant ball in towards the near post. Stephen Fletcher was getting to it. In fact, he got the touch on it, but Ross Laidlaw was coming flying out as well. The goalkeeper got a touch. It rebounded out to young Rory McLeod, but it was on his right foot and he choked his shot and stuck it past the post. Still 2-1 to the visitors.
Andrew Considine is having to come off, clattered by his own keeper. So he's been replaced by Theo Bair.
Was it a head knock, Alan?
I thought it was there, and he comes running out, the usual keeper, clueless.
Alan, a wee story when Snell does get signed by Alex Smith. Alex Smith were down at Large at the time, we're walking along the corridor, and he's obviously coming from Holland, and he's saying this is a magnificent goalkeeper. I says, does he speak English? He says, well, a little. I says, well, he understand, stay in your line. And I can't repeat the other one.
Oh, it's another for Ross County, and it's the hat trick. It's the hat trick for Jordan White. I'm not sure, Liam, but you check and just see if he's definitely onside.
Yeah, Bobby's just indicated that as well. Just looking at it, it will be tight, but it's a good goal, great cutback.
Yeah, Simon Murray down the left-hand side, fires it into the middle of the goal, and again Jordan White right in the middle of the sticks, on hand to knock into the back of the post. But my initial reaction was he was in front of the defender and he was in front of the ball. I'm just not sure whether there was anybody else. Again, it's this one that the pole's right in front of me, so I can't see the whole box, but as it is, if the goal stands, it's 3-1 to Ross County.
Get a look at it now. Ball goes down the line. It's really tight. It's really tight.
The ball, he'll be tight on the ball. I think you're right, Mike. He's ahead of the second last defender. It's whether he's behind the ball. That's what's going to be happening.
Could very well be a lifeline for Dundee United if it gets chopped off. But it's good play from County. Simon Murray, as you say, Michael. And if the goal does stand, what a performance from Ross County.
Yeah, and again, he's really poor at the back from United.
It is. It's too easy. Too easy.
Well, it's just been announced that it's on the Tannadice that's obviously getting checked. I thought, from where I am, it looked like he was in front of Simon Murray in the ball.
Yeah, it does look like that. There was one last week, I think, Bobby, wasn't there, that was marginal as well. When we were looking at it, it was a lot tighter than we actually thought at the time.
Duke's going to have to go off here. He's pulled a hamstring, so he's the board has went up. He's struggling to come off the park, and it is Jaden Morris that's coming on for him. So that's another huge blow for Aberdeen. Looks as though it was a hamstring pull.
It's a goal. It's a goal. It's been given. 3-1 to Ross County.
Hat-trick for Jordan White. Well, in terms, what's the prognosis generally for a hamstring injury? What are you looking at for a player in terms of being out?
Well, I just used to play with him. Just play on. Just play on.
Are you sure they've not been celebrating with you this week? A couple of muscle injuries, a bit of fatigue. Let's use the alarm bells ringing with that.
Possibly.
That could be season over, Kenny, depending on how bad it is, whatever grade it is.
Yeah. And Alan, just speaking of goalkeeper, just seen a shot come in there. The great Hamish McAlpine in the stands at Tannadice. What a keeper! What a character!
What a character! He was brilliant, absolutely magnificent, lovely guy as well. Really nice person.
Biscuits, I was in his company a couple of weeks ago. He's hilarious.
He's in his 70s now. It doesn't look like it.
He looks
great.
Still play. That's what I was going to. He looks magnificent, doesn't he?
He's brilliant.
Tell you what, he went to give me a shake of the hand and a high five. Nearly broke my arm.
The size of his hands.
Right, guys, I think we need to check in on a wee man through the Hamilton. You've gone a bit quiet, Chick.
I thought I'd just like to try and less to contribute a wee bit to the programme. Official attendance here this afternoon is only 1,353. If you'd heard this earlier on, there'd been about 130,000 who would have come to watch it. It's been unbelievable. It's all over now, I think. I can't see Arrow Athletic getting back into this. Accies are just managing the game. They made a few substitutions. Remember, Arrow are down to 10 men
There's
anyway.
a ball! Hearts have got one back. Atkinson down the right hand side. It's a brilliant ball, just fires it hard and low, right across that 6-yard box. And it's, I'm just looking.
Might be tight again, Derek. To be fair.
You're kidding.
Josh Ginnelly.
I tell you what though, the art of defending goes out the window when you talk about stopping the cross, Derek, allowing him to come inside the box.
It's Grant in the back post area. I hope that's no offside because I think it's a great ball.
Yeah, just getting a look at it now. Don't know if it possibly is it Ginnelly maybe.
I think it's Grant.
Final touch. No, it's Ginnelly. No, it's
Ginnelly?
good. Looks onside to me, Bobby.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's a good goal.
That's a good goal. Really dangerous ball across the 6, but as I say, you can't allow a player to just come inside the box like that. Then you can't touch them. You don't stop the cross. You don't get close enough. Always in the back foot.
George Grant just grabbed the ball.
It's a striker's dream.
There's three of them are in there. So George Grant, he just grabbed the ball and just get back. But no, it's a brilliant ball, isn't it? You know.
See what I mean, Bobby? There's Leanne and yourself got it sorted out as a goal, and we're still waiting for confirmation.
I know, they'll go back, won't they, Bobby? They'll look at the different attacking phase of play and different types of things. But
it needs to be quicker, though. You're right, Alan. It does need to be quicker.
Well, here's the thing, though. You go back and you look at all the different bits of the phase of the play. That's not happening in real time. You know, can we not just... You think about it, right? The game's been played on. There's no obvious decision being made. The goal's been scored and it's been checked for whatever they're wanting to check, and they go back and check the whole phase of play.
Yep.
It wasn't pulled up in normal play. Can we not just get it on with the incident that they're looking at and let everything else just go as was when the game played?
And that, well, everything...
Shot from Johan, another great save. Oh, dear me, this is some performance from him. It's quite magnificent. They're tearing Aberdeen apart. Roos has been called into action on a good handful of occasions, and Johan is just running the show. He's been spectacular, and Aberdeen are very fortunate still to be in this game.
Just to speed it up, Bobby, you know, in terms of limit the decisions that are having to be made. Was it onside? Was it offside? Was it handball? Was it not? Don't have to go back over the last, 10, 15, 20 seconds to see if there was something else that nobody picked up in normal time.
So the VAR bookmarks everything that's a potential issue.
Oh, it's off the bar! It's off the post! It's quite magnificent from Hibs. The corner comes in, the header comes off the crossbar, and then at the far post, I think it was McCurdy that takes a volley, and it hits the post as well, I believe. It's difficult to see, a lot of bodies in front of me, but I think Leanne was at crossbar and post.
Yeah, definitely came off the post, the second one as well. Catches it well, McCurdy, but probably just goes back across goal.
The solution, Bobby, is to get Leanne in.
Yeah, it would be much faster.
There was one, Alan, was it through at Livingston one day? It was an incredible amount of time it took.
It was ages, honestly.
Even Motherwell last week, it was the same, So we need to remember those operators are also new. So the VARs are new to issues, but also the operators who provide the angles and go through the clips are also new. So they're also learning their trade. So there needs to be allowance there, but you're right. We're a few months in now, so people do expect to see it becoming a little bit quicker.
No, I get that, but Leanne sees the one clip that she sees every week, surely. That's not as if Leanne...
We've got a check here at Pittodrie. For what, I do not know. just on the back of these two.
I wonder, is play restarted since
No.
All I'm going to say is it could be a potential handball, because whoever tried to block the shot from McCurdy, to me looked like possibly their hands were in a unnatural position, but I don't think there was contact. It was Coulson at the back post, but whether it seems to have flicked off his hand and onto the post, I'll look for another replay here. Bobby, keep your eye on it as well. He kind of turns his back in the ball. He's not expecting it to come off the crossbar to start.
This is going to be I think this will be a penalty.
Yeah.
Again, given the criteria, it's again he's turning away, his arms out, it's hit, ball's contacting on the elbow. The one factor
you
might be
that
the distance. Is the distance. But we talk about consistency. People would then compare both decisions, and
I just don't see it being really unnatural though, Bobby, and that's where there'll be a frustration here even from Coulson, because I know he turns his back in the ball, but his elbow's not too far away from his body, and as you turn, I'm not sure you can really keep it tucked in, but there's definitely contact off his elbow in that replay, Willie.
Yeah. And for sure, I'm sure this will be given as a penalty kick. And this is to try and find consistency. Yes, we might not all like it, but it's so we're consistent.
Have a look at this one. We've got a red card. Herring. He just comes right across and he's dismayed. He doesn't think he's having a look. He's the manager.
Straight red, Derek, is it?
Yes, straight red.
Get a look at it.
Yeah.
Handball. Penalty.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Should Nick Walsh have seen that, Bobby?
No, it's difficult. Both the handball penalties, both up at Dunedin here, they're on the referee's blind side. So where they actually can't see it, they need
a yellow card. A yellow card.
Shot to goal, Willie. So shot to goal would be a yellow card.
Yellow card.
McCurdy hits the shot, Willie, and he's not claiming handball.
That's a good point, Leanne.
I think at times that can make your mind up as well as a referee.
So I think we're seeing the replay there. Honestly, I'm not convinced that this is a serious foul play challenge by Herring by Hart.
Right, Bobby, I've got something for you here. This is great. The ball goes out, another ball comes quickly in. St Johnstone take it quick. The referee's not happy with it and does the square sign as if there's a check. I don't think there was.
Heading off.
But Kevin Nisbet though for this penalty. Kel Roos on his line, being told to stay on his line, obviously. The referee making sure that he's been made aware of that. But it is Nisbet that's got the opportunity to put Hibs into the lead. It would be deserved as well because they've been outstanding this afternoon. He's got it on, just taking his time, trying to calm things down onto the right foot. He runs up and it's saved! It's saved by Kel Roos. Roos dives to his left. He leaves his leg trailing and it comes off his shin and it goes out for a throw-in, I think it is. Are they checking it again?
They'll check it to make sure he was on his line, Willie, but it's a good save, a brilliant save. Can we just go to this red card quickly as well, because Bobby's looking at it as well. I personally don't think it's a red. I know Herring's come in with probably a lot of speed, but there's not too much contact that we need to say.
Can you compare it to Halliday's?
It's a different type of challenge, because I think Halliday's a bit closer, there's a bit more force, possibly a bit more intent, and contact. There's not an awful lot.
Should have been called over.
This will be, there's elements, they'll say there's elements to support, so this is going to be the situation. They'll say he's came at pace, so they'll say they've found a way to support the decision, but the bottom line is we want the right decision. For me,
is that the wrong decision?
For me, that's the wrong decision.
It's not even close to being the right decision.
No, and there's two defenders almost recovering round as well.
When do we get to the end of the teething problems, Bobby, do you reckon? That they said they were still having.
What I would say, look at England, it's been 2 years longer and they're still having teething problems. There will always be issues. There will always be issues with VAR, but I understand the frustration that people are seeing, but it will improve and I'm confident of that.
But after all these questions, you'll be getting back to the referee next week.
Honestly, I used to struggle watching one game, see watching 5, I've no chance.
Bobby, the correct call bringing it in when they brought it in here and not at the start of your season.
I think the match officials have been trained in line with IFAB protocol, so they were ready. Would they have been better taking longer and more offline training? I think so. But there was a want from the clubs to bring it in, I believe, and from the SFA, so they progressed with the innovation. So it's not worked out well, but like I say, hopefully over the summer there's more training and you'll see an improvement next season.
Bobby said a few very interesting things, and I think he's absolutely spot on with it. And that one there was finding reasons to back up the decision that was made. I think he's absolutely correct, but I think it's nonsense, in terms of that shouldn't be the case. It really shouldn't. It's the wrong decision. Get the right decision. Look at it, see it quite clearly. It's not.
Pyramid playoff, just to jump in, Michael, Pyramid playoff final, first leg. The Spartans won, Albion Rovers won. I want to go through the Premiership table right now as things stand. So Aberdeen 54 points, Hearts 48, Hibs 48, St Mirren 47. Motherwell 7th spot 43, Livy 42. Then it gets really interesting. St Johnstone 36, Kelly 34, County 33, United bottom right now 31 points. They are behind at Tannadice. Guys, I just want to go around you quickly. So I've been teeing this up for a long time now. The shortlist come in this week for Manager of the Year. Ange Postecoglou, Stephen Robinson, James McPake, Darren Young. Let's go around you all. Starting with yourself, Willie. Who gets it?
Well, Postecoglou, in my book, I mean, the job that he's done at Celtic, the pressure that he's been able to absorb, the fact that he's done it on his own and he's brought some inspiring players from countries we weren't aware of. So for me, it's got to be the Celtic manager.
Michael Stewart.
I'm just wondering how Willie hadn't heard of Japan before.
I've heard of Japan, it's just the players that hadn't heard of.
Willie, I know.
Right, who's getting it, Michael?
That's Postecoglou. It's you know, he's on the verge of doing a treble, and yeah, I mean, look, you can argue that he's got lots of resources at his hand, but the way that he's gone about his business and the team that he's put together, obviously disappointing result from the day, but yeah, Postecoglou for me.
Derek?
I agree with the guys, they're spot on.
Stephen?
Yeah, I think Ange Postecoglou will win it, but I think Stephen Robinson, for example, is a worthy candidate when people probably had him sacked in pre-season after they lost against Airdrie in the League Cup. So, you know, what he's done since then, taking him into the top six, still within a chance of European football, first time since 1987. So I think absolutely deserves to be on the list.
Alan?
Yeah, I would agree. All very credible candidates as well. And just a mention, not in the running, but for Dick Campbell, yet again the best part-time team in Scotland.
Leanne?
Postecoglou.
Right, and also I just want, Alan, you touched on earlier, and Chick brought this up earlier on in terms of the problems getting a Scottish Young Player of the Year award, the lack of options that they've got. It's a concern for you, isn't it?
It is a concern. They're not getting enough game time, and I get that managers' jobs are on the line and they don't tend to look at youths, but the youths have got to be good enough to play as well, Kenny. That's the thing, you know. Hearts last year didn't play one kid in 1 minute of a Premier League game, but they got a successful season. They finished third. So, but fans want to see them producing their own. And
one to look at for next season as well, Alan, coming up again, Josh Mulligan at Dundee.
Yeah. He's been very good. He went out and wrote, didn't he? And he can bat a far better player.
Yeah, but I know Chick's talking about him, and I'm saying it again, he's been great today. Adam Montgomery, Chick's 20 odd games in the Premier League for St Johnstone, left back, 20 years of age. You're looking at guys, you're picking guys that have played a handful of games.
Yeah, I take your point, Alan, but I'm just saying, generally, I mean, the lack of, you're naming one or two others, absolutely, but generally, when I sat down to look through who I thought I would give my vote to, I just became acutely aware of the lack of candidates, really.
I suppose it depends who you watch.
Absolutely.
You know, young Lyle Cameron's got all the Player of the Year awards at Dundee, who are now going to be back in the top flight, you know. So for a young man, it just shows you that sometimes it's not all about playing in the top flight. If you can drop down and get your minutes in the divisions below and build your confidence, your profile raises.
So as we approach it, just to get through the score line, so Aberdeen 0, Hibs with a penalty saved, Dundee United 1, Ross County 3, Kilmarnock 2, Livingston 0, St Johnstone 0, Motherwell 1, St Mirren 2, Hearts 1. And Bobby, I want to go back to this because, you know, Hearts got themselves back into it. It was a nice cross, a nice finish. And you're saying that was a wrong call. And again, I put yourself in the position of that on-field referee. Surely tonight he's saying, why on earth did you not call me over?
Again, there will be dialogue. The VAR will ask the match referee, what have you seen there? He'll say, I've seen pace, I've seen intensity, he's nowhere near the ball. But where's the malice there? Where is the endanger, the safety of the opponent? The contact is like the thigh on the foot. You know, I don't see them endangering that challenge, endangering the safety of the opponent there. And I'm sure he would welcome a chance to look again. But the two phrases, clear and obvious error, or elements to support. So through the dialogue, there's obviously elements to support the decision, but as I mentioned last week, it's finding the correct decision for football, and for me that's a yellow card.
Yeah. Just simplify it, you know. Right decision. And you know, the other one that was pointing out before in terms of if a goal's been scored, and instead of going back and analysing the last 15-20 seconds and seeing if anything else had happened, nobody saw it in the game, let it play, just look at what has been in the build up to the goal. Was it offside? Was it a handball? Let the rest of it just play on so we can speed things up, because that's the big thing that folk complain about. Takes too long. Let's simplify it. Let's make it a little bit more straightforward and easy for the VAR officials.
I mean, Stephen Naismith, Leanne, will have his say on that. Now, listen, St may well have hung on, but that definitely affects the game. It alters things.
It does. And Hearts have probably had their fair share, as have all the clubs, even going back to the Robert Snodgrass one as well, the sending off just before his departure. I think that was the final game before his departure as well, which I didn't agree with at the time. It was a second yellow.
That was against St Mirren as well, wasn't it? I think, was that the one for it?
Possibly have been, actually.
It was against St Mirren.
So I just think I would rather we get these decisions right, so whether you're in the VAR room and you understand that the referee said that this could have happened and that this is the reasons for supporting it or not, if you disagree, I think you've got to voice that you disagree and ensure that the referee looks at it again, because ultimately sitting here watching it on a screen, you've got a better chance to get that decision right than you have just in the one instance that you've seen on the pitch.
Right, let's quickly go around the grounds, closing stages. Michael, this could be, well, it's going to be surely now a tremendous result for County.
Absolutely, that is it. It's not. I don't think there's any debate about it now. That they will. I'd be astonished if they don't see this through, and it will be a huge one. And then it's back-to-back victories away from home here to follow up the victory they got at home against Livy, and this obviously against their rivals down at the bottom of the table, scrapping out to avoid that relegation.
Game over here. Motherwell will be wanting the position of best of the rest. It's a really good finish. Mandron, good play on the left-hand side. Spittle to the byline. He knocks it across. Montgomery's just wrong-footed. Ball goes behind him. And from about 6 yards out, he knocks it into the back of the net. 2-0.
Kenny, sorry, you talk about manager of the year. I know Stuart Kettlewell's not going to get it, but what an impact.
Amazing.
He has made second bottom when he took over, I think with 20 points from 20 games, or even more than that, and now the turnaround, I think that's 23 points now in something like 15 or 16 games. Incredible turnaround.
Yeah, I remember being at that first game, Cax. I think you were there alongside me, the game against St Mirren.
It was a nervy night. They were just trying to get a game over the line, but 4 days later or 3 days later, they played Hearts. They beat Hearts 2-0 at Fir Park, and they were absolutely brilliant. And from that moment then, at that moment, they haven't looked back.
Yeah, it's been absolutely tremendous. Willie Miller, Lee Johnson said during the week he felt they had to take 3 points this afternoon. My goodness, they should have done.
No, absolutely. I mean, you're talking about 6, maybe even 7 good opportunities. Kenny, it's quite incredible, and you add the penalty to that as well. You've got these chances, you've got these opportunities, big chances to take the 3 points, and we get held up a little bit at half-time. There's a problem with one of the goal nets. It wasn't lying down properly, so we're still playing. But it's been chance after chance after chance that they've just chucked away, and obviously the penalty is the worst one as well from the spot. So Aberdeen have been disappointing. I'm sure the manager Barry Robson, are they in? Is it another set? Yeah, it's Pollock this time putting in the challenge. No, it's not. It's the other centre back. His name is Angus MacDonald. Has put in the challenge there as well. So it's been disappointing in terms of the Aberdeen play. It's been brilliant to watch Hibs really tear Aberdeen apart. It's 0-0. If Aberdeen can escape with a 0-0, it's another point toward third place.
Just looking, they were just checking that Motherwell goal there, Kenny, a possible offside, but play has resumed.
Right, so missed opportunities for Hibs this afternoon. That's not been the case in Paisley for the home side. Derek, on course with the 3 points.
I'm not so sure about that, to be honest with you, Kenny, because Hearts are, since that equaliser, it was kind of the comeback was curtailed with the Peter Herring sending off, but they're starting to kind of use a little bit of pressure with the 10 men. I just don't understand why. They know how they got the goal, the source. Get the ball wide to Atkinson. He's got the beating of the full-back or the wing-back, and they've very rarely got him on the ball in the wide areas. But when they do, they look as if they're going to create something. So they're creating a little bit of pressure at the moment. So we're just coming up 90 minutes. Well, we get 15 minutes till we go into time added on. But it's just Hearts piling on the pressure. St Mirren just sitting in. They've not got one player up the park. It's a decent ball in. So they're just defending for their lives at the minute to try and see this 2-1 victory out.
Stephen Craig, and you spoke about Kelly's impressive home record and how important that would be in these
Time
closing
and
games.
off the ball, Derby, 2-0 to Motherwell.
Thanks, Alan Preston. Yes, Stephen, you spoke about how important this game was for Derek McInnes's side today. As things stand, they're in 10th spot. That's huge.
Yeah, and I have to say the first half they were very nervy. You could just tell there was a bit of tension around the ground, and I think it affected the performance. They got the first goal just after half-time. They then got the second from the penalty after the VAR check, and they managed the game really well. Sam Walker had a save just over the crossbar when Stephen Kelly had a free kick, but from open play Livingston haven't really threatened, and Kilmarnock, Derek's made the subs, he's just stiffened up the team all over the pitch. Deserving winners so far, but with 3 minutes left, but it's 2-0 just now.
We've just had the classic yellow card shown to a player from each side. Bobby, why did they do it?
I think if you get any confrontation, that's there to try and
why
keep
not just have
control.
a quiet word with the players, you know, rather than flashing a yellow card? Have you seen the incident?
No, I didn't. I seen the 2 yellow cards.
You spoke about your style last week. You tried not to that time.
And you would manage that, but the SFA, UEFA, whoever it was, would encourage you to show it because they want to stop confrontation. What I don't like is when the
it stops it, doesn't it? I mean, it happens all the time anyway. I mean, this is, you know, like I was saying before about the red card chat with Josh Campbell. You're not going to stop a player from doing that because it's an instinctive thing. If he doesn't see the player as well, just confrontation. It's football. It's going to happen. Just have a quiet word with them. Get on with it.
Like I say, they're encouraged to show cards, and like I say, some referees will manage where they can, others will show the caution.
Full-time Rugby Park, Kenny, 2-0 to Kilmarnock.
Wow, that is a huge win for Derek McInnes's side. They are in 10th spot, 34 points. County, they are on course for a terrific win. That puts them into their playoff spot, 33 points. United bottom, 2 adrift on 31. St Johnstone beaten this afternoon. They are by no means clear. They are by no means safe. Yep.
It will be Hamilton Accies who have the chance to survive in the championship. They will play Airdrie in the playoff final. It's been a miserable afternoon for Arlo Athletics. They've lost this one 5-2, 5-3 in aggregate. And it's Hamilton Accies who will have a game against Airdrie for survival, or indeed in Airdrie's case promotion to the championship.
I hate to think how many goals there could be in that one, given the scoring that Airdrie have had this week. Terrific against Falkirk. Just looking at the full-time score lines in these playoffs. So they won 1-0 this afternoon. As Chick telling us here, they will play Hamilton Accies, who came from behind to beat Alloa. Dumbarton 0-0 at finish against Annan. All the damage done midweek by Annan. They cruised through that tie, and it has finished in the Pyramid playoff final. The Spartans won, Albion Rovers from. Is that a chance?
Game over at Tannadice. Victory for the visitors.
No, it was good work with Shankland there, just the ball in the box, but his finish, unlike him, you know, I just thought he was just going to try and curl it, find that top right hand corner, but just leaning back and got it all wrong.
Still playing in Aberdeen, Willie?
They're still playing, yeah. As I said, there was a little hold up before the second half was kicked off, so you know, nothing has changed, Kenny, to be honest. It's not been a great performance from the Dons. If they manage to steal this one in the dying moments of it, it would be quite sensational, because Hibs have been outstanding this afternoon. They've put everything into a game that they should have been out of sight for them, but it hasn't, because they haven't taken chances. And Ramadani with a strike. Whoa! It's saved.
Oh, it's a little shout, penalty for Hearts. Gianelli takes on his chest, it's going away from goal, and the challenge, there's no need to make the challenge.
I don't even know if that's a challenge, Derek. I've seen it once, if I'm being honest. It looks to me like Gianelli leans across, searching for the contact. I'll get another look at it, as will Bobby, but certainly for me, going away from goal in that manner.
It's a substitution that's come on, and I mean, he takes a touch, he's coming away from goal, going outside the box.
Never a penalty.
No, and you don't, Bill, you don't even get close.
The only contact is, Derek, a slight arm in the back.
There's a small.
They're checking it anyway. They're going to check it, right, but the referee was quick to give it.
So for you two,
no penalty. No chance.
There's the smallest nudge in the small of the back with the forearm.
The only thing Gianelli wants is a bit of contact to go down. There's nothing else he's looking to try and do there.
They're giving it.
Incredible.
Penalty kick. Wow. There you go. Because I'm just looking at it and I'm thinking, don't get too close. Just stay off him a little bit, because he's going away from goal. Still got a lot to do.
Correct, Derek. We talk about normal football contact. That is normal football contact.
The thing is, Gianelli's moved about 5 yards away from the ball, Derek, to go and actually get closer to Flynn.
Yeah.
He's not. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's taking.
Well, here's Lawrence Shanklin, right-footed. He doesn't miss. 2-2. Credible, and they look comfortable for long periods. St Mirren, they will be absolutely gutted.
Was it not a shove? No, you wouldn't say that was a shove. No,
that's not enough for me. I mean, that shouldn't make a professional football player's legs collapse.
Yeah.
I also don't. You can then argue, is it simulation or not? But sometimes it's just neither a penalty nor simulation.
And that's Kenny, just when I'm watching it, and you know, and it's just he gets away from the defenders, he takes it on his chest, but as he's heading away, I'm thinking, if I'm out there, I'm not going near him. I'm just staying off him a little bit, you know, because he's got a hell of a lot of work to do. But slightest of contact, you put yourself in danger of giving away something in this day and age.
You're right, you run the risk, and it is up to the defender not to make contact, but that's not enough. I mean, I think when you see
finished.
it,
if that's
all
penalties
over.
In football,
2-2, incredible.
96th minute, Leanne.
It's incredible. And how quick was the check though? I mean, we sat here today and there's been minutes upon minutes of checks, and literally that's over in the space of 15-20 seconds.
That was quick, yeah.
I do not understand that, because that's a game-defining moment. Now, by the way, credit to Hearts for getting themselves back in the game, because they were down and out.
All finished at Pittodrie, Leanne. All finished at Pittodrie. An amazing 0-0 scoreline. Can't believe it. Hibs thoroughly deserved their victory, but didn't take their chances, and Aberdeen get another point towards Europe.
Yeah, they had so many chances. We'll hear from Lee Johnson. He will be absolutely gutted at that. Kyrus saving the penalty from Kevin Nisbet. But it's really telling us they had so many chances this afternoon. Fantastic result for Ross County. Incredible drama late in the day there in Paisley. We will hear from Stephen Robinson. We'll hear from Stephen Naismith. Really interesting to hear what they have to say. St Johnstone banging trouble again. Motherwell doing really well under Stuart Kettlewell, and a really important win for Kilmarnock over Livingston at Rugby Park. All the reaction to come on Sportsound right after the BBC Radio Scotland news at 5 o'clock.
On digital radio.